Mhm. All right, we're live. Today we're going to be talking about the Prime Dynasty 101 League post rookie draft. Going to go ahead and give our updated rankings and see how it all shook out. Ross, do you want to go ahead and tell us what the settings are for the league? Actually, first, this is up in this corner of your screen is Ross, and down below is Scott. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right, Ross.
Yeah, so this is our, I don't know about the other leagues you guys are in, but this is the deepest one I'm in. So we got 30-man rosters, unlimited, 50 for MFL settings, taxi spots, rookies and second years allowed, super flex, tight end premium. We got 10 starters. We had a 6-round draft, just finished, I think, Sunday or so. So now we're doing the recap show for the post-rookie draft.
All right. And the starting requirements are what? 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, 1 tight end, super flex, and then 2 flexes.
And then it is tight end premium 1.5.
1.75 for the receptions.
Elliot, did you hear that? 1.75 for the receptions for tight ends. All right. So let's see. We got. Do we want to just?
Do you have? Can we recap where we ended up with the final rankings from the first show?
Decided to delete that from my files, so I don't have it anywhere.
I should have mine somewhere. Let me pull those up.
Yeah.
I know I
had my final rankings. I'm not sure that I wrote down the consensus.
I don't know if we did a consensus on that one.
Okay. I think I have it from the 36 team league. I still have those. But I didn't know if I had them for this league.
Okay, so I got mine here. You want me to just read them off?
Yeah.
So I have the Empire 1, Kingsman 2, George Puff 3, Trades Are Us 4, Franchise 5, Metal Militia 6, Skull Chef 7, The Dealer 8, tied with Lord Chicken McDicken at 8, Night's Watch 10, and a tie for 11 with Run CMC, who is now the Count Druncula, and Junior, who is now Coop Squad.
Okay, so before we get into that, I just want to tell you about my really exciting draft that basically was, 1 pick and then, not until later. But I did debate between running back, taking CEH there. But ultimately for me, super flex league, I just went ahead with Burrow, and I figure I'll trade one of my other quarterbacks or, whatever. We'll see what happens with Big Ben's health and see if Jared Goff can put together a good season. So that's why I ended up taking Burrow at 1.
I think that's a smart play, but Mick might disagree on that one.
I think for your team, it was the right play because 1 running back wasn't going to turn your running back room around.
Right.
But it was kind of a weakness with Big Ben as your third QB. You made it a strength. Now you could move Goff. I might be interested. But yeah, I really those first 4 or 5 picks, maybe 6, can't really mess it up in my opinion. So I think it went Burrow, CEH, Taylor, Tua.
Yep. I think those first 10 is basically a standard across Superflex leagues.
Pretty much.
Yeah, more or less.
3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 2 receivers is the top 10 every time that I've seen.
I've seen Judy get swapped out for Jefferson a couple times, but other than that, I did see CD fall to the second once.
What?
CeeDee Lamb in the second?
No.
Yeah.
Is that a 4-team league?
No, it was a 12-team league.
No.
Dude.
I shit you not.
Did you have a pick in the first?
I would have been trading up like man.
I was trying.
Are you kidding me?
Like hell. Let me pull it up.
That's nuts.
Crazy thing is, it's a $400 buying league.
Oh my gosh! Have you seen like Rager or Keyshawn Vaughn crack that top 10?
I saw that league. Vaughn went 109.
So the league we were just talking about before we went live here, Vaughn went 106 and
No, he
Dylan
didn't.
went 107. It's a point
Wait,
per
who-
carry.
AJ
AJ
Dillon.
Dillon
107?
107.
What?
Yeah.
Is he going to get any carries this year? Like
I
5?
mean, that's point per carry league, but I don't know if it matters.
Did you get carries from Boston College days?
Dude, I took him in like one league, and I think it was this one, and I felt sick about it in like the second round.
Yeah, you did.
Like,
No,
late
303.
second.
I see it right here. 303.
Okay, yeah. It was like,
mean-
all right, at 303, I guess I'll take him, but like,
Yeah,
in
I
the
wouldn't take him in
first
the second.
round. Oh my god.
That can't be a super flex league. There's no way.
Oh no, it was one quarterback,
Okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
but
one
still,
quarterback.
you're talking,
but
That's
Yeah.
your running back. The sixth running back, or
that was the 7th running back off the board,
yeah, it was 1 through 7 straight running backs.
and Dylan was the.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Yep.
wow.
if that's what you want to do, I guess.
Right.
All right. Were there any trades that stood out to you during the draft, Ross or Scott? Other than my amazing trade with Ross that I loved so much.
Yeah, I had to give up Terry Mack, Scary Terry.
That was nice.
F1.
What else was in that?
Dobbins is my running back 1, so I'm okay with that. I do love Terry though.
I remember. I don't remember all that was in that trade.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up here.
I'll get it.
I know Steve didn't like it.
Oh, Steve doesn't like any trade that I'm involved in.
No, he didn't like it for me.
Oh no, he doesn't like it because
terrible.
he thinks I usually win. Okay, you gave up Terry 112 and a 2021 second, and I gave up 105, 207, 408, and 603.
Let's see here.
So who
So what do those picks turn into? So Terry.
Yeah. Do you know what players to those?
I can look. It was
Terry, that's Rager. Fine by me.
Right.
112.
That's Rager.
Okay, but you also traded for that pick later because you sent it to me.
Oh yeah.
So I got 112 and a 2021 second, and you got 105, 207, 408, and 603.
So that would be Scary Terry, Rager, 2021 second for Dobbins, Michael Pittman, who's 408 and 603. Bryson Hopkins, tight end premium, and Colby Parkinson, who Scott took later on. And that was the best trade, honestly, of the draft. Scott and I. 603 for 611 and 612.
Oh yeah. Killer.
So what did you give me for 112 later on?
No, you took 112. You took Rager.
Oh, but
You
then I must have
drafted
traded
with
him.
it.
You traded Rager after the fact?
Oh no, he's still on my squad. Never
No,
mind.
you have him.
Yeah, you kept that pick.
I kept him. I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
It
112. I
doesn't-
like Rager at 112. I saw him go at 108 a few times, and I don't know. I think there's other receivers I'd rather have, but I don't mind it there.
Well, we can talk about our rookie ranks now that we've done our draft. So where do you have Rager
That's true.
as far as wide receivers?
It really depends on the day. Sometimes I have him as high as 2, sometimes 5.
Yeah, 5 for me.
Yeah, I have him down
4.
at 9, but I'm definitely the low man on Rager.
Wait, at 9, you said?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, Ross has him really low, which doesn't make sense to me. But
So I got Lamb, Judy, Jefferson, my top three. Then I really love Edwards, Pittman, and Higgins. That's my tier of 4 through 6.
Okay.
And then I've got the next tier is Ruggs, Ayuk, and Rager, 7 through 9. So I mean that's a tier for me.
Okay.
So
I agree with all of that other than Rager being that low. I think he belongs in that same tier as Jefferson, but
I just don't think. I think you have to like super produce in that conference because the defense is so bad. I don't know. I think the next step up is going to show his flaws, but we'll see. I mean, I just took him in this other draft at 202 just because the value is there.
Yeah, we just had this debate with the Trade Addicts guys, and oh man, I'm drawing a blank. My Devi buddy Kane Fossil. We're talking about how Justin Jefferson played the slot just like Rager. They both had trouble on the outside getting separation. And so I just said that I felt like Philadelphia, I have more trust in their offensive scheme to use Rager in different ways and get him open. And I mean, Alshon's going to be playing the outside still, at least this year. I mean, I think Rager's going to be in the slot regardless. Justin Jefferson was on the board when they took Rager. So they passed on him. And obviously they have a plan for Rager. So I'm thinking he's going to be in the slot. So that's the landing spot pushed him up a little bit for me. Otherwise, like talent wise, like I think he's very talented, but he's probably still in that same group of guys. But the landing spot for me is what pushed him up. So that's why he's like 4 or 5 for me.
When he got drafted, we were doing a live stream, and I said they were going to pick Jefferson, and then they picked Rager, and I was like,
I thought they would pick Jefferson.
I thought Jefferson for sure.
They were going Jefferson. It was a perfect fit in my head, but
I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I'm happy they passed on Jefferson because I like him a lot more than Rager. Take that Big 12 bust, fine by me.
I think you're also a little bit biased by the LSU helmet, to be honest.
Well, it's more so the conference. I mean, you see all these guys coming out of the SEC that play against the top tier DBs and they produce on the next level, where guys are running through, flag football games, making these big highlights, and they get to the next level where people actually tackle, and they're not putting up those kind of after the catch numbers. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, fair enough. All right.
I mean, I have CeeDee Lamb as my number one receiver, but it wouldn't shock me if he kind of fell in that same boat of where he just produced because he was playing, butter defenses.
No, I can agree with that. That's the one concern I have with him, and the fact that most of his production, it seemed like, came after the catch, just him making plays and making guys miss or breaking tackles. He's going to be seeing much better athletes at the NFL level. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
But do we want to get into our rankings, or was there anything else that stood out to you guys?
Do you have any well, actually, what was your best I want to ask you guys both, what was your best value, or what was your best pick? The pick you liked the most in the second and third rounds, and the pick you liked the least in the second and third round.
Okay.
Yeah.
By ourselves or just anyone?
Just any pick in those rounds where you felt like, it was just the pick didn't fit the team, or you just didn't like the player or the value or whatever.
Ross getting Pittman at 207 hurts me, especially because
I was shocked.
Because I sent you 207.
Yeah. By the way, Steve said he takes it back. He likes my trade.
After it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
If I'd have been able to do what I did in our other draft with the 112, where I traded down from 5 to 11 and then traded back up to 6 and got Swift, I'd be very happy about it. But it didn't work out that way.
Do you have Swift at 4 or 5 for running backs?
It depends on the day.
I have him at 5.
Okay.
I have him at 4 just because
Just because you love Taylor Swift. Just be
I
honest.
do. I
Yeah,
love Taylor Swift.
yeah.
I actually,
He gets a bump for the name.
No doubt.
No, but I'm not too worried about Carry-On. Carry-On's going to be hurt by week 2 or 3. He might be back 3 weeks later, but then he's going to get hurt again. It's what he's done his entire career. I even have Dustin selling him for a third and 2/4 or something like that in the other league. I've talked him down that much to Dustin.
Yeah. Honestly, I was shocked that Dustin made that trade just because he loves running back so much.
But no, I love Akers, but that situation, they've already come out and said that it's going to be a committee. The offensive line's not good at all. I know he didn't have a good offensive line in college, but it's not gonna. We'll see how it works out. But Swift long term, I like his talent more. He was pre-draft. He was my number 2 running back. So I'm not going to make the same mistake I did with AJ Brown and move him down just because the landing spot's not great.
Right.
I mean, really, you can't really go wrong with any of those 5 running backs. Everybody has their guy. They're all pretty similar.
Well, there's not one that of all of them, the one that could bust the most to me
Is Akers.
Swift.
Is who? Swift?
To me, it's Swift. Just because the Lions.
Just because the Lions haven't had a good back in forever.
No, just because Matt Patricia and their coaching staff and their line and their scheme and everything about the Lions organization.
That's fair.
I mean, I think there's a case for all 5 of them to be great or bust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me if any of the 5 were the best back or the worst back out of those 5 in 3 years.
That's true. I agree with that.
But getting back to your question, Scott, I think for me the best value might be Troutman at 309 in a tight end premium.
Yeah, looking at it, that's who I would go with. That's where he's fallen in most of the drafts.
Yeah, and I heard earlier today, I was listening to, I think it might have been the Nerds, talking about how Sean Payton, he traded up to go get Troutman, and they obviously have a plan for him. And regardless, if Breeze is there 1 or 2 more years, I think Cook has 1 year left on his deal. But Sean Payton and that offense, they'll always find a way. Whether it's Teddy or Taysom Hill or now Jameis Winston, like they always bring somebody in, they figure something out. So and they like to use the tight end in that offense. They work around him and scheme for him. So yeah, Troutman's definitely, because he's a small school guy, I think that's probably why he's a little underrated. If he played in the SEC or in a bigger conference, he may have been the number 1 guy, like or at least a bigger name for this draft class, considering nobody really stood out. The consensus number 1 guy.
He's my tight end 1. I don't know about you guys, but
he was my tight end 1 even before landing spots. When he went to speaking to his small school background, when he went to the combine to the Senior Bowl, people were saying he was the 4th best receiver there, not tight end, receiver.
Wow.
So to stand out that much at the Senior Bowl has to say something. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, his tape is fun to watch for a tight end for sure.
He went to a great spot too. So
would you guys agree, or do you have a different pick for those 2nd and 3rd round best pick or best value, I should say?
No, Troutman in the 3rd was really the one that stood out. I mean, I will say that a guy like for me to take AJ Dillon, I obviously felt like it was a good value because I honestly didn't think I'd own him anywhere. But yeah, Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are both in the last year of their contract. Aaron Jones he's been in the doghouse with 2 different coaching staffs for whatever reason. They're probably not going to re-sign him. Jamal Williams is definitely kind of that number 2 compliment guy. He has Rodgers' trust. So I see them like re-signing him for a cheap deal, and he sticks around. And then AJ Dillon may end up getting the Derrick Henry role in that offense. So, I mean, I could see it. I'm not saying he'll be good, but I'm saying the opportunity could be there. So I just felt like at 303, it was worth a shot. I mean, what are you going to do in the 3rd round anyway? So if it works out, awesome. If not, whatever. But But yeah, Troutman definitely stood out there. The one I dislike the most, probably, I couldn't pick in the third round because honestly, there were like 4 that I didn't like. It's really a tie, I think, for me. I'm gonna name 4 that I didn't like, but actually, I'll leave one out because I felt like it was far enough down. But man, Lynn Bowden. I mean, at 311 again, it's like hard to complain. Like whatever, if he hits, great. If he doesn't, whatever. It's 311.
Yeah.
But KJ Hamler too. Like I don't get it. I don't get it with that guy at all.
What if he went 211?
Yeah, no, I mean that's insane.
We were in a draft. This draft
like I don't understand that at all.
Oh.
What's the third one?
The other one was I was going to say Chase Claypool.
Okay.
I just don't understand him at all. But again, in the third round, it's like I'm not going to knock anybody for that. So
if they move Chase Claypool to tight end, do you like that more?
Yeah. I think they will once they figure out he can't separate on the outside. But I think the goal there was, this is my interpretation, was they wanted to keep Juju in the slot, right? So they want Claypool and or Deontay Johnson on the outside. And that was the whole goal there,
So if Claypool goes to tight end, would you rather have him or Troutman? Because Dustin had that pick with both on the board.
I'd still rather have Troutman. Yeah.
He's a better athlete.
He's the natural, I mean, I watched a lot of Claypool. Remember, he's Notre Dame guy. So that's like the local team for me. So I saw a lot of him and he was fine, but he's just not a receiver.
He's fast for sure. For
his size, like, yeah, he's a freak. And I mean, they definitely, Ian Book would just throw it up to him and he'd go make a play. And I mean, I liked him a lot in college, but I just don't see that working in the NFL. So, but Pittsburgh, man, they got away with receivers. So
that's what Dustin's saying.
I would not be surprised if he was successful.
It wouldn't shock me at all if he ended up being a top 5 wide receiver in this class.
Yeah, no, I won't be shocked. You won't see me with any shares of him.
I wouldn't bet on it.
He was there in the 4s.
I mean, it's almost kind of like Boykin last year. I mean, he's got the size, the combine skills, but he didn't really do anything. I mean, he might get passed up by Duvernay this year, possibly.
The crazy thing about Boykin is that Matt Waldman absolutely loved him. He had him as one of his highest rated wide receivers in the last 3 years. And I mean, because of that, I grabbed him in a couple drafts, like later, late second, early third. So, and again, same thing, I guess, here for Claypool. So that's fine. If he hits, great. If not, you didn't lose a lot.
Yeah. I agree with those.
What do you think, Mick? Do you have a great value or a bad value in these second and third rounds?
For the most part, it's other than the ones that Scott pointed out, it's not really. There's nothing standing out to me that was.
How about Jordan Love at 208?
So that's what I was going to say. I'd rather have Jordan Love than Jalen Hurts at 304 because I just don't see Jalen Hurts as anything on the NFL level.
I think Hurts has. I don't want to say he has a higher upside, but I think he does just because he has that rushing ability. As a passer, he's not going to do even close to what Love could do if he lives up to his potential, but he has that rushing ability that gets fantasy points. So
I'd personally rather have Eason than Jalen Hurts.
I would too.
I agree just for where you draft him.
Yeah, I think Eason in the 4th, and he has a clear path to playing time. I think next year, if he can show even a little bit this year or next year, 2 years from now, he could be the starter.
I hadn't seen. I'm still putting together Superflex. My own ADP since I'm in so many leagues. I decided to put together like my own ADP.
There you go.
And I finished one quarterback. Well, actually, no. I guess I have to update now from that other league. I just hadn't seen Jordan Love go that early. So just maybe to me it was like 212 was, I think, was like the highest that I saw him go. Or
actually, Dustin is in our other league, Superflex. He just took him at I think it was 204.
Really?
Yeah, I think
204.
he took him pretty high there too.
Yeah, he's in the comments. He's a believer in Jordan Love.
Dustin, tell us what's the mindset behind that?
He
like
thinks
what's
he starts sooner than later. It must be either Rodgers gets hurt, which is a real possibility. Anytime he plays the Bears, they could break his collarbone.
Yeah.
Or Rodgers trade, which I don't really see happening.
So I will tell you, I took him in one league, and it was at, let's see, 2, 3, 4, the 306. I took him there, and that one I felt like in that particular league, I feel like he's an asset. Like if we're looking at like a stock market type thing, or just if we're looking at these guys like assets, his value is only going to grow, or it's going to hold. Like it's going to be like a bond. Okay, like it's not going to. There's not going to be crazy fluctuation, right? It's just going to sit there. It's going to slowly build value over time. Like eventually, it's going to be something. You know, whether it's with the Packers or if Rodgers gets hurt and he flashes something like that, like he has that upside. He's not going to lose value sitting on your roster. So I just thought in the second round, I felt like there's players in this draft that can help you actually, that could like play for you right now.
Like
so I just didn't
understand more value than he can.
Yeah.
But he's not going to lose value unless he gets playing time and doesn't do anything. Which I don't. If he ends up getting playing time and is horrible, then you wasted a third, or you burned a third round pick that probably wasn't going to pan out anyway. But in the second round, I'd rather have any of the running backs in that area. Or
I mean, Dustin he has Josh Allen, he has Ryan Tannehill.
He doesn't have anything else.
And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine because he can wait. He can afford to wait.
Yeah. So.
Well, that was a different league, though. Yeah, he didn't take him in our league.
That's a good segue, though.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Should we get into those rankings?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So, Scott, I already gave Ross my overall rankings. Do you want?
Wait, are we gonna do positions first?
Do we want to do positions first? We can do positions first. I'm good with that.
Let's do positions first.
All right.
Get a little suspense build up for the overall.
Should we go top to bottom or bottom to top?
However you want to do it. You call the shot.
Let's go top to bottom. I think the number one is pretty easy. At least for me, it was. Who do you have at number one, Ross?
I have myself at number one.
Interesting. I do not agree.
I'm guessing you have Steve at number one?
I have Steve at number one.
Overall?
This is positions, quarterbacks. We're talking quarterbacks.
Oh, quarterbacks. Got it.
Did you do positional ranking, Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
It all comes down to Baker Mayfield, so I'm still a believer, but if you're out on him, then I would see why you would have probably Steve first.
I'm not out on him. Steve has two top five quarterbacks. I know Dak losing Hopkins is going to affect him, but he's been a top 4 quarterback 3 years in a row. Worst case, I think he'll fall to 7 or 8. And Dak can be he could push for the QB1 this year.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The Bears quarterbacks, specifically Nick Foles, or the Chargers quarterbacks, who would you rather have?
Chargers.
And is it a big difference?
Chargers, huge difference.
Okay, so that's why I have myself above him, because I got those guys locked up, and he's got Foles as his third guy. You know, just a little factoring in depth.
Well,
I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close.
Well, I mean, I'm factoring the whole position. You know, we're looking at all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's position group. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, starters have the highest weight, okay, and then you're gonna look at age and depth
I'll still take
to
Steve.
fill in.
I mean, I have Steve too. I think his quarterbacks are great.
I have Steve
the
too.
The Chargers
as well.
bump was for me. I mean, I don't think it was. I don't put myself far above him. I'd rather have my quarterbacks in his. That's how I looked at this.
No, that's
by
fair.
Position. Whose positions would you have like totality?
Definitely.
I can see that argument. So then, who do you have at 3?
I got the Lord Chicken McDicken himself.
Lord Chicken McDicken.
Yeah, I think
so.
Russ finished 3rd last year. If you look at last year, Russ finished 3rd. Goff finished 15. You could say Goff had a bit of a down year from the year previous, and then Big Ben, if he comes back, I mean, he finished 3rd his last full season. So, and then if you add in Burrow, you figure at least 2 of those guys should be hopefully number ones. You know.
Well, you also got Big Ben coming back too. I mean, Big Ben's a wild card. He could.
Well, and he finished number 3 his last full season.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's exactly.
Who do you have 3, Mick?
I had Scott as well.
Okay, so consensus top 3 then at least.
Yeah, and then right there, or right behind the next tier, I'd say there's a tier break if we're gonna look at it.
Yeah, I would
like
say
that, right? 1, 2, 3. And then I actually put I had Cody at 4.
Same here
because of Lamar. And then Teddy, I know people are down on him, and he's very blah.
They're sleeping. No,
but I'm telling you, man, that OC. Did you see what he did at LSU?
And
those guys were nobodies, and then they had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, season ever. So, yeah, and Joe Brady's a stud.
Outside of that offense, their defense is going to be horrible. That division might be the best division in football.
They're going to have to score.
Going to put up points. I want every piece of that offense I can get.
Yeah, well, we know DJ Moore is your top 3.
Yeah,
he's got to be up. He's got to be top 5.
No,
I think.
Where would you put him, Scott?
Yeah, I mean he's in there, top 7 probably.
7. The disrespect.
Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 12.
As a 22-year-old, 87 catches, 1175 yards. Pretty good for 22. When most people are in college.
And he's doing it with Kyle Allen.
Yeah, I loved him in college, so I was on him all the way. He was
my wide receiver 1 in that class.
He was my 2, but
behind
neck and neck, 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
So back to Cody. So he has Lamar and then Teddy and then Stidham, who now looks like he may be the Patriots quarterback. I mean, they haven't really told us otherwise. I guess it could be Hoyer.
As of now, yeah.
That's not long term. And then obviously Tua, and one of my favorite values in Superflex to grab Jacob Eason.
Yeah.
He could easily be nothing, and we never hear from him again. But he could also, he's going to get to play behind Rivers and Jacoby Brissett, 2 just guys that love to coach and teach and help and are great teammates. And they're going to teach him a lot. And I think he's definitely got a chance to be the future there.
Do you think Rivers is going to teach him how to throw a deep ball?
Yes, he will.
Eason's deep ball, I was watching tape earlier today. Man, it's pretty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got a cannon.
He's got all the tools.
Dude, side note, at one point Georgia had Jake Fromm, Jacob Eason, Justin Fields. Are you kidding me?
Well, have you seen Ohio State's 2015 roster?
Yeah.
Haskett, Ohio State 2015 is insane.
That's nuts, man. Yeah. So I love that top to bottom. I mean, Cody's definitely really, it's just a matter of a year from now, we could be saying he's number 1.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. So yeah, that's a nice group there.
If Tua plays this year, I would say he's easily in that top 3.
I bet Tua plays at some point.
It depends on how much and how how healthy he stays for me.
Cody, you don't like my hair? What the hell, man? This is for you.
All right, so who do you have at 5?
He likes his briskets more than your hair, Scott.
Well, who doesn't? I have
Trades or Us at 5.
Really? Ooh.
Well, we were talking before. I'm high on those young quarterbacks too. I don't know if they'll pan out, but I like their upside.
So you're going upside there. Okay. I have
In
it
depth. You have a lot of depth too.
I mean, if you can consider Trubisky depth.
Well, I mean, if Trubisky's a starter, you got 4 starters right now, right?
Yeah.
And 32 teams in a 12-team league. That's pretty good depth.
I mean, I needed to get the depth because my quarterbacks sucked.
But you can also play matchups, if someone gets a hot hand for a month or
and if Luck
shitty
comes
defenses.
back, I have Luck.
I don't think Luck's coming back.
He's not coming back.
I haven't on so many rosters.
He's too smart to come back.
He's already. I mean,
but what if Bill Belichick calls him?
If Bill Belichick calls him, oh my god.
He'll probably ask him if he can be the offensive coordinator so he doesn't get hit.
He's not a free agent though.
No, he's not. It wouldn't happen. People just like to say that shit. They have no idea how it actually works.
Hey, real quick, I'm just going to cheers to the Count. Popping a beer with Dak Koozie. Count Druncula.
I have him up here, actually.
I can see that. Kyler Stafford.
Stafford's so underrated. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks of our fantasy generation. I mean, the guy's just continues to put up numbers.
But he keeps breaking his back, Scott.
He keeps, if not for injuries, unfortunately. And so then he does have Jordan Love. So that's who drafted Love. Okay. The depth component there hurts him quite a bit. But Kyler and Stafford, I'd be nervous with those two. I would. But the upside is incredible. They could be top 10 for sure. You could have two top 10 quarterbacks there.
I actually had the dealer 6, but I'm looking at it now, and I'm not sure that I should keep it that way.
You had the deal with Allen and Tannehill and then nothing?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I kind of factored in if Hoyer beats out Stidham a little bit. But
Hoyer the destroyer.
Yeah, Hoyer somehow manages to put up numbers. I mean, there was like that season he was having with the Browns, I'll never forget. He was just tearing it up for like 4 games and then literally tore it up, his knee. And then, was that season? Yeah.
That was,
and then he came to the Bears, and he was just slinging it everywhere. He had like 3 straight 300-yard games, and they're like, oh, the Bears have never done this in franchise history. So yeah, Hoyer can sling it, man. So I would not be surprised if he's the starter week 1. But yeah, Josh Allen and Tannehill, but both of those guys, high upside for sure, but Tannehill's efficiency is going to come down. It has to.
Yeah.
It's historically no one's ever had the efficiency he's had and not regressed.
But even if his efficiency does go down, he's going to get to pass the ball more.
His volume should go up. Yeah.
He was throwing 1 pass and getting a touchdown, a 50-yard touchdown. So, I mean, break it down. He'll still get he might not get the touchdowns, but he'll get more yards. And more passes.
Well, wasn't he like quarterback 3 since he started taking over or something? It was insane,
ridiculously high.
I mean, even if you're aggressive to like a QB1, like back in the QB1 high and QB2, it's still pretty solid. But if Hoyer doesn't win the job, then he probably drops down my ranks a little bit.
He could be in, and then 1 injury, and he's he's in big trouble. I have. Who do you guys have it?
How about George Puff?
Yeah, Puff was next for me.
I had Coop Squad.
Ugh.
You what?
Ugh. I mean,
I think he's got some solid, not high end, but he's got solid depth.
What?
He's got Jimmy, Cousins, and Carr.
Okay, so George Puff, Carson Wentz gets hurt. What does he have now? Matt Ryan and nobody? And
Dude, he has Brett Hundley. Come on.
he does? I don't even have him on my list.
Jameis, man.
Jameis
Will Greer,
they're
the
backing
savior.
up. Teddy's Teddy could get hurt, but Breeze doesn't get hurt that much. And if he does, I mean, they still love Taysom Hill. There was a report by Jay Glazer earlier today that Taysom Hill is the guy in line, next in line. So
I was reading today that they were saying that they're going to have a QB competition for the backup role.
Well, I mean, even so, if Wentz goes down, he doesn't have a clear-cut guy to step in for him. Coop Squad's got Jimmy G, who's solid, Kirk Cousins solid, Derek Carr.
But they hate Carr for some reason. I could see them at some point this year deciding that Mariota's going to start over Carr. I don't know why they don't like Carr.
But Mariota just got ran out of town as a number 2 overall pick.
Oh, Mariota, Tannehill, Carr. It's going to happen.
I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let me try this. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right there.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Taysom Hill is not it. It's not it. Okay? He's not it.
All I said was there's a report by Jay Glazer, who's typically on his shit, but
yeah. No, he is. He is.
I mean, if I'm the Saints, I'd put Winston in there over Taysom Hill.
Well, you're talking about right now too. Like, there's no time. Like, Jameis has no. Yeah, right now, yeah, it would have to be Taysom because Jameis has no clue what the offense is,
and it's going to take him more than 2 weeks to learn it.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it makes sense, but it's almost just common sense. So I don't know. Regardless, I mean, I like Wentz. Look at all the weapons they've put in around him. They still have a very, very good O-line. With Sanders and Boston Scott catching passes too. They have the best tight end duo. And I love all the receivers they added. A lot of super underrated guys that are going to come in and not fantasy-wise, but for Wentz's value, he's going to have everything he can possibly need to be a top 3, top 5 guy. He should be. It's within his range of outcomes.
With Ertz and Goddard, I mean, what more safety blankets could you want in an offense?
Well, and now having the deep guys too. I mean, Djax is healthy. They traded for Marquise Goodwin. They brought in Quez Watkins. I mean, you have guys in Rager, obviously, that we talked about.
Hightower
as well. I mean, there's just studs, man.
They loaded up, and getting healthy should make a huge difference. And J-Ja could contribute. I know, Scott, you're big on that.
He's taking over for Alshon when Alshon gets hurt this year or when Alshon leaves next year. Every guy they drafted, they're going to play slot or they're going to play outside. But the X is going to be J-Jaws. Watch.
I believe it.
All right.
So, Mick, you like playerprofiler.com, right? Did you listen to Matt Kelly's podcast?
I listen to the podcast. It's on my.
You don't ever use Player Profiler?
Occasionally.
Well, they have John Hightower comp to Darius Slayton. So if you're a big Slayton guy.
Okay.
Which both me and Scott are. So
yes. So and
Hightower could be a good sleeper out there.
So Hightower makes sense. And there's also another guy that I have kind of as my Steve Slayton this year that I'm picking up everywhere.
You say his name on here. Do you already own him in this league? You do, don't you?
Everybody's owned in this league, hopefully.
Let me double check.
No, if Scott has him, I can't trade for him.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. So I don't remember if I grabbed him in this league. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, do you mean Steve Slayton or Darius Slayton? Because you said Steve. I didn't know if you're talking about a running back or a wide receiver here.
No, I said Slayton. I said who I have comped to Slayton.
You said Steve Slayton.
No, who I have as this year's Slayton.
Steve Slayton. But you said Steve.
Okay. I love Steve Slayton.
Yeah.
West Virginia, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Those were the days. That was when Rich Rod was the man.
So Steve Slayton.
So this year's Slayton for me.
Raymond Calais Jr.
is not on my roster.
No, he's not on your roster.
It is Calais, yeah.
Oh,
who's on my?
I just looked at my
Quinn
on there.
Watkins.
Gabriel Davis is someone I like too.
Calais has some speed, man. I liked watching his tape. He's pretty small.
He could take over that for Dare. He could take over that role
Yeah,
for Dare Agunbowale.
So,
but he wasn't seen working out with Tom Brady the other day. But Dare,
that's right.
are you going to share the name?
I'm looking for it here. I didn't know if it was on somebody's roster or not.
He's on somebody's roster.
Well, I know he is, but I can't believe I didn't draft him in this league.
Scott, I think Cody's jealous of your pantry. He thinks you're presenting from your pantry, which would be a huge pantry.
That'd be
No, this is my
massive.
office. Those are shelves in the back there. Those are shelves.
And to be fair, pantries have shelves.
Treadmill. So if I had a treadmill in my pantry, I mean that would be amazing.
That's MTV Cribs pantry level right there.
Well, trust me, the house I live in, it's Cribs worthy.
There you go.
Okay, so I found him. He's actually on Count Druncula's team.
Oh.
He is a wide receiver for the team that Steve Slayton played for. No joke. Steve Slayton, he played for the Houston Texans. So the man, Isaiah Coulter.
Oh, Coulter.
Yeah. It's my guy. He needs to add a little weight. He's kind of.
Let's see who he's got comp to.
He's not too small, but
he's comp to Jordan Payton on playerprofiler.com.
He's comp to who?
Jordan Payton. Looks like he played for the Browns. I don't know.
I've never even heard that name.
Yeah. Huh.
It's not a great comp.
Well, this side also has CeeDee Lamb comp to Jerry Rice. So,
well, I can definitely see that. If you go,
it's your boy Matt Kelly. It's his site. You never look at it.
If you go to the Dominator app, I don't listen to him. But if you do the Dominator app and the player comparison,
it's the same thing. Yeah, that's the same. That's the site.
Okay, but put in Coulter and then put in Slayton.
No, their metrics are very.
Oh, compare. I got you. Okay.
Yes.
Their metrics are very similar.
6'1", 190, 6'2". See, they have Coulter at 200 pounds on here. But he's not.
He definitely isn't that.
They have him at 198 on the player profile.
Yeah, no. He's like 190 at best.
Well, some of these guys they beef up for the combine just to get that that number.
That could be.
Like Rager.
But they have Slayton and Coulter have identical speed score, burst score, agility score. Actually, Coulter had a better Dominator rating. They were basically the same draft, 526.
7 picks away.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's this year's Steve Slayton.
It's a very similar situation that he's walking into. Steve Slayton. All right. So we kind of went over the top quarterback.
All right.
Groups.
Yeah.
You guys want to move on to running backs, or should we go through and tell people?
Let's just do a quick run through your top.
All right, go ahead and run through yours, Ross.
1 through 12, or
go 1. Well, we kind of already went 1 through 6.
Okay, so after 5,
Yeah.
I had after we all had 1 through 4. That same, right? Cody was 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, 5 through 12 is Trades Are Us, The Dealer, Coop Squad, Count Druncula, George Puff, Skull Chef, Metal Militia, and Silence of the Lamb. Being very silent at the bottom.
I have that almost identical.
Yeah, mine is more or less the same too.
Yep. Okay.
Did you have? Yeah, Metal Militia at 11 and Silence at 12.
Yep.
Exactly.
I think I had 1 flipped in there, but that's it.
Crazy. Yeah. All right.
Let's move on to running backs then.
Running backs.
At 1, who do you guys got?
I will start it off with the one and only Skull Chef.
That's where I'm at too.
Yeah, I had it was a debate between him and Metal Militia, but Skull Chef's depth and the upside is.
I got Metal Militia number 2, so it's probably
I did too.
Yeah, they were both very close. Cook, I think, has a higher He has a higher floor and he's safer than Mixon.
Yeah.
Well, Fournette and Henry are, regression candidates for this year versus what they did last year. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And Chubb, I think, could actually – I mean, everyone's worried about Hunt being there, but I think he could also take a step forward, honestly, with the
Yeah, he could.
With their new head coach, what he did with Cook in Minnesota last year. But yeah, so then at 2, we all have Metal Militia.
Yep.
Oh.
Who do you guys have at 3?
I actually have you at 3, Mick.
I do not.
You do not? Who do you have?
I have George Puff and Count Druncula.
Puff with Akers, Saquon, CMC, Bell. I can see, I
Yeah.
can see that. Who do they have?
I have him at 5, actually. I
Yeah.
got George Puff in the middle.
At 4?
Yes, I got Trades R Us, George Puff, and Count Druncula for 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Let me look at Mix again.
I can tell you what I have.
So Kenneth Dixon. Oh yeah, baby.
Start from the bottom.
That's what I'm talking about.
I actually ranked your whole running backs, and he was your worst running back. Kenneth Dixon.
It's pretty close there with Salvin Ahmed, but
Well, he's in the next to last. Yeah, you can put him in a tier.
okay, the dude that's supposed to be lightning fast, who ran like a 4.8 at the combine. He was like running through quicksand in those running back drills. That dude, oh my god.
Well, what I want to know, I watched his tape and they kept calling him Ahmed, but his name is spelled Ahmed.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced.
It's confusing me.
Yeah, it's Ahmed.
With a K. There's no K or C in there.
That's the Middle Eastern pronunciation, Ahmed.
It's over my head.
Yeah. Well, you got Calais right. Most people say Calais, so you're doing good there.
Okay. Well, thanks, Scott. I appreciate that.
Yeah, one step at a time, right? No, like I'm a pronunciation guy. Like it drives me nuts when, like, announcers don't get it's like their job to know. Like not us. I don't give a shit. Like we don't get paid for this. But I'm saying, like, if you're on TV and you don't know how to pronounce a guy's name, or like the people that are like, Albert. Let's call him Albert O. And it's like a joke. Like, dude, we've been talking about this guy for 2 years. Everyone knows who Albert O is. Okay,
it's my Albert O face.
Like
you know what I'm talking about.
Classic. Office.
I have Sanders, Josh Jacobs.
So Sanders, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor.
That's about it, really. Geis, Rojo.
So I think we're a year too early. Like a year from now, when Taylor's fully broken out and completely destroyed Mac, and Mac's gone and he's a top 5, top 3 back, and Sanders is chugging along and Jacobs is solid 2, and Rojo probably fights off Keyshawn Vaughn for a while.
It's going to happen. This year, he's going to be the starter.
Keyshawn Vaughn's got that role.
I don't know what to do with him, man. Garrett Price.
Well, let me ask you this:
about Keyshawn Vaughn for 2 years, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know.
So, Scott, are you looking at this for 2020, or the way I looked at it was, which group would I rather have on my team if I had to take the whole group? No, so even though they're a year away, would you rather take them versus guys that are more ready this year?
Okay, so let's compare with who else do we have up there?
Count.
Okay, so let's look at that. So Count has CMC, Le'Veon Bell, no thank you. Sony Michel, absolutely not. Damian Harris, okay, we'll see. And it's signs are not good. If you don't do anything, it's usually not good, but it's the Patriots, so who knows? Anthony McFarland, I don't know what to do with him. I did not like him in college. I watched a lot of Big Ten football. I did not think he was anything at all. I did not think in any way that he was anything special. And Debbie guys have been talking about him for a long time, but I don't see it.
2018, he had one game against, I think, Ohio State, right? He had like 3.
He did.
And then all of 2019, he was playing with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, and I mean, and I get it, but like I just didn't comparatively to other guys. I mean, like Javon Leake was on that team, who's now on the Giants. I thought he looked equally as good, and that's a comparison on the same team.
Yeah.
So like watching tape, like I'm not a huge tape. I don't know running back position that well, but like I don't know, he didn't look special to me.
So what you're saying is he has Saquon and Lev Bell, and then
Yeah, CMC. And,
that's
and
fair.
so to me he has CMC and that's it.
Well, the argument for McFarland is just landing spot because he's got what Connor and Jalen. I mean, he could be the guy there.
Benny Snell.
Well, I could also see them like Connor is. I've never been a Connor guy and never will be, and he'll be gone after this year. But they could easily draft somebody next year.
That's true.
So I could see that. I don't know that McFarland can be the typical 3-down back that we normally see in Pittsburgh.
So would you rather have that group or mixed group?
Yeah, no, I'd take mixed group. Yeah.
Makes sense. I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you what Matt has. He's got Saquon. Oh, down
Cam
here.
Akers.
Duke.
Breida.
Duke, Breida,
Damian
DJ
Williams. DJ Dallas.
That's about it.
Yeah, he has my usual end of draft picks. DJ Dallas.
Benjamin.
As my friend Michael Bauer likes to say, Lamical B. Ryan. And Benjamin. So yeah.
He's got some nice pieces. Probably won't help. Those end of bench guys won't help much.
The teams that I have Saquon on, that's pretty much what mine looks like too, though, because I just take Saquon and then I just like whatever. I'll just find a second back.
Just wait. Yeah.
So like all those pieces, he can definitely find a second back to plug in. So I like that group. I'd probably take him over Count Druncula.
What would you?
I would. I have him at 4.
I would.
And Druncula at 5.
Yeah.
But what about versus Mick?
Okay, so I'd rather have Mick than that group.
Okay, so I have Mick 3.
Okay,
I think you guys are on the same page.
All right.
Oh, I have myself 3. I think my top end depth is better, and then Geis and Rojo. Although they probably won't hit, if they do hit, I think they have much higher ceilings than the guys at the end of their benches. So Steve brings up a good point. If he's not in the top 5 at running back, should he be number 1 in the overall rankings?
Yes, 100%.
I agree because his quarterbacks and his tight ends are just.
I don't weight running backs.
Well, his running backs aren't bad. They're just guys you want for one more year, and then you're not really sure after that.
No, they're a really good group.
He's got a win now group of running backs.
Which brings me to him. I guess I have him at 6. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, I also have the dealer in there.
I got him at 7.
So let's take a look at that.
He's got Zeke.
Yep.
Zeke.
And a lot of Hope. Zeke and Hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Monty as a solid 2.
I think he's being underrated right now.
Oh man, I've been buying him everywhere, which is stupid, and I hate having Bears players, but it is what it is.
I drafted him because I knew they were going to give him work, and I didn't.
So when you say solid 2, are you talking about like top 15, top 20?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
high end number 2,
20. Yeah, he'll be. He's gonna have a high floor. I don't know that he's ever gonna have those 30, 35 point games. But he's gonna have 15 carry if Nagy figures out his fucking play calling. He's gonna have 15, 18 touches minimum every week.
Mm-hmm. I think if Foles ends up being the starter, the offense will start clicking a little bit better.
Yeah,
and he'll have more touchdown upside too. Which will help.
Everybody says he's such a massive bust, and I'm like, I don't understand it. The guy had
the offense Mine was horrible.
275 touches, 1,100 yards, and 7-8 touchdowns. Like as a rookie, that's a bust. Like what are you talking about?
Well, it's because his hype got so insane last summer.
I mean,
He didn't live up to the hype. I think is what it is.
But the hype never made sense. Like, do you see the Bears? Like, what the fuck?
But it happened.
You know,
Monty, he
was going 1-1 in August.
He's a good running back, but he's not special. There's nothing about him that's special. So he's not going to be able to overcome a bad situation to be amazing. But in an okay situation, he'll be okay.
I think he's just a victim of the rookie hype. People had him so high, he's 1-1. Then you see Jacobs, and he doesn't compare to that last year. So now he didn't meet expectations because they were too high to begin with.
He had 267 touches, just under 1,100 total yards, and 7 touchdowns. So I will take that as my number 2 running back all day.
His yards per attempt are pretty low, but
he's young.
The line sucks. There was no passing game, so he did what he could.
The line
he should improve in his second year.
I mean, if you want to look at it as Jacobs compared to Monty finished 25, Jacobs finished 22. Granted, Monty played all 16 games.
Jacobs, how many catches did Jacobs have?
He's not going to get any this year.
Everything bad. Jacobs had.
Why? Because Lynn Bowden's going to take him?
Between Richard and Bowden and all the weapons they actually have now in the passing game with Ruggs and Edwards and
Jacobs had 20.
Witten. I mean, dude, Jason Witten's there now. 83 target, Jason Witten.
I mean, Brian Edwards is there. He's going to take all the catches.
Hell yeah.
I love Brian Edwards.
Same.
I have him as my number 12 overall of this class.
He was when Justin and I did the Trade Addicts draft special. He was the guy that I said you got to leave every draft with if you can get him.
I'm 3 for 3 so far.
Yeah.
And this last draft, I had 205. I took Pittman instead of him, and I'm like, I'm just going to wait and see where somebody else takes Edwards because I'm always taking him like 204, 205. He made it to 301, and I got him there. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, and I would take Pittman over him too, but
it's every draft that Ross hasn't been in, he's fallen to at least 211 to 212.
I mean, that's insane value.
With Ross.
He went 204 in ours in prime.
Yeah, because Ross took him.
So that was okay.
I took him ahead of Pittman, and I got Pittman at 207 anyway.
He was 208 in the Cartoon Do-Gooders Alliance, which is a industry charity league. I'll just touch on that one really quick because actually there's some interesting ones in there. It was Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, Tua, CEH. So 1 through 4 is pretty much. J.K. Dobbins went 5, and then Akers 6, and then Swift 7, Lamb, Judy, Rager, Herbert. I took Jefferson at 12. And then T. Higgins, Keyshawn Vaughn, Henry Ruggs, Anthony McFarland went at 204.
Mick, where'd you get McFarland at in this draft we're in right now? You got him at
209.
He got 309.
309.
Yeah.
309 McFarland.
I took him similar to that in another league, which I think is the only one I have him in. But yeah, so I found that interesting that McFarland went that high, and then that's, But anyway.
Well, so then, yeah, I can get behind let me see who I had it. We're at 7 now, right?
Yeah.
The dealers, I had him at 7.
The dealer, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus, wait, who'd you have at 6?
Steve, Aaron Jones,
Chris
Carson, early.
Yep. Okay.
Who is 8 then for you guys? Because
Cody Jackson 5.
Yes.
Who does he have after Howard?
Well, I'm including Keyshawn Vaughn as his number 2, so obviously you guys are
after
disagreeing on
Vaughn,
that.
Howard, Hendo,
Michael Warren, JaMychal
Mike
Hasty.
Warren, yeah.
I prefer.
I like my group over his.
I prefer Scott's running back.
It's got at 9. I mean, I think that
Kamara
was
with
a toss-up for me.
top end.
I just like Moss better than Singletary, and after that, I mean, you got a bunch of guys that could take the job, but not this year.
Right.
I think he has way more upside on his bench with all his handcuffs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, injuries happen. I mean, for sure, he could vault up there. I mean,
I
Zeke goes
I
down,
think
those
I
are
have
hard.
8 running backs that are a snap away from being pretty relevant, at least RB2s, if not more.
Absolutely.
Which is typically, that's probably the only thing typical about this draft versus my other leagues, is I normally just have a bunch of running backs like that because I don't care about running back.
So then I have after Scott, I have Silence of the Lambs.
He just has one lamb, no S.
I have him last.
You have him last?
No, I have him 11th.
I have him 11th as well.
All right. I mean, for me, after we got past Scott's team,
It was pretty. Yeah, you're right, because you have.
It's a bottom tier.
yeah. I mean, it's you have one guy, and then someone that might not have a job, which is why I put him up above those guys, because it was between Ross and Elliott for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Drake. I mean, Dobbins' upside is he could easily be top 3 in the league. Like league, not rookies, league.
Oh, yeah.
But it might actually take longer than people think. Mark Ingram's like a really good locker room guy. They love him as a leader there, and I think he has less wear and tear than most 30-year-olds. So just because he's 30, it's not quite the same for his 30s, not quite the same as the average 30. So
no, and I think he's going to be there next year as well. Not just
he has an out. Like they could cut him next year, but there's still some dead cap. So it's very possible, but yet that offense is going to have a lot of volume. So I think Dobbins will be relevant for sure, but he may not hit that elite tier for a year or two.
So you guys are Bears fans. What do you think about Cohen? You think he's going to take a step back because Monty's going to rise up and take more touches?
No. So what happened last year with Cohen is he had the catches. Go look at how many catches he had last year. It
was like 80 or 90, wasn't it? It was up there.
It wasn't as efficient.
In running back receptions. It's just that he didn't have those big plays, and his touchdowns were so far down, and that's really what killed his value. So I expect him to regress, positive regression.
I would say he finishes either where he was last year or slightly above. I don't think he'll drop down.
No.
So let me look at last year where he finished real quick.
I think he finished RB22.
Yeah, 21 last year in this league.
Really?
Okay. So if you put him with Drake, who could be top 5, 10, that's why I have myself. I mean, I don't have myself high, but I have myself at 10.
I mean, you look at with Nagy, he had 89 targets and 104 targets. He just didn't. I mean, look at that. He had 8 more catches and like 300 less yards. I mean,
that's crazy.
And his rushes were down too, actually. And I know it wasn't much, but 100 carries is 100 carries for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that helps. That helps for sure. Kick him up, probably a tier. So he probably won't get many carries, if any at all. Probably 60 or so, maybe 4 a game. But he's still catching 5-6 passes a game.
Oh yeah,
he's got a decent floor.
Yeah, he's serviceable as an RB2 or flex.
Yeah, I mean he's my RB2 right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Dobbins steps up.
No doubt. And then you have some wild card. I mean, San Francisco keeps hanging on to McKinnon. I don't know why, but obviously they're going to use him. And all those running backs tend to have cold streaks or injuries, so he could step in there at some point. And Antonio Gibson's just a total wild card. I mean, he could definitely, a year from now, we could be looking at things really differently with this group.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that Ron Rivera tries to use him as McCaffrey, even though he might not be as talented.
Yeah, it's possible. Is that Scott Turner? I think that runs that offense.
I think so.
Yeah, we shall see. We know guys can't stay healthy, so.
Well, Cook couldn't stay either. So.
And so I guess we all have Coop Squad at number 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have him at number 12 for a couple things.
Okay.
Same. No.
All right. So we'll want to move on to wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
I think number one, honestly, this was the top three were sort of difficult for me.
I can see that.
So I have George Puff and Silence.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's
so
I have Silence number one.
Okay. So me too. And here's how I looked at it. I went with you have to start 3. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I want to see your top 3, and that's going to have the most weight. But then I also looked at depth and age and factored in, accordingly, because again, this is dynasty, right? So depth and age were the next 2 biggest factors for me. So having Adams and Hopkins, I mean, I understand Hopkins isn't going to have the offense he goes to is going to have more volume. So maybe his efficiency increases. He doesn't have as many targets, but his efficiency is better. Even if his target share decreases, he could still have the same amount of targets, if that makes sense. Like his target share, he's not going to dominate the target share, but he could still have as many targets because of their volume and what they want to do.
I think his fantasy points are going up.
Yeah, it's very.
If you look at fantasy points, I think they're going to go up from Houston.
People are not. The general consensus is that that's not the case, and I think that's crazy. I would be buying Hopkins for sure.
I think you guys are not factoring in that he's not going to have time to develop chemistry at all, which is a big factor for the wide receivers. I mean, look at what Odell did when he left New York and went to Cleveland. I mean, granted, that offense was a train wreck as a whole, but Hopkins is going to have 0 time to develop chemistry.
Well, how do you know Kyler Murray wasn't using Hopkins on Madden when he was in high school?
I mean, if you want to rely on that, that's cool, but
I'm just saying, who else is going to take all the targets? I mean, you got Fitzgerald and who else? No one else really stepped up last year.
Kirk did when he was healthy.
Hakeem Butler.
That's
my guy.
I mean, Drake out of the backfield.
Yeah.
No, I think Hopkins, you're right. He's not going to have, 100-yard games right off the bat, but by midseason, he'll be crushing. I'm all over Hopkins, and if he struggles early, I'm buying.
Yeah, there's a definite buy window, but there's also a guy in every league like Elliott that still has him, a top 3 dynasty asset, who already owns him. So you're not getting him for cheap right now.
I need to text Elliott. I don't see him in the chat on this one.
So Devonta Adams, stud. CeeDee Lamb, stud. He's my number 1 in this class by a wide margin.
Mine too.
Debo. And then if the Packers actually put MVS back in the slot instead of having him on the outside where they couldn't get any separation, he could actually come back and have a 3rd year, like mini breakout.
But I don't think there's going to be a lot of volume in that offense.
No, but if he's in the slot, he'll get some.
Oh yeah,
catches.
And then when Adams,
they don't really have a tight end.
No, he. I mean, it depends on if you think Jay Sternberger is actually going to be able to do anything.
He is 100%.
He didn't do anything last year.
Did you guys watch him before last year?
You mean
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a number 1 guy in A&M.
I
He's
have a
going to
lot of
surprise. I'm not saying he's going to be the top 3, but he's going to surprise people this year.
I think he's going to do something, but I think he just wasn't able to get Rodgers' trust last year.
He scored a touchdown in the playoffs. His first catch wasn't until the playoffs.
Well, there you go. Earn some trust. All right, so top to bottom, he has a very solid group, and his top 3,
So who do you have number 3 in his top 3?
It depends.
I got CeeDee Lamb.
I think it's CD. Oh, well, I think right now it's Debo. Like if I had to pick who I wanted to play right now, it'd be Debo. But by week 5 or 6, it could be CD.
I'm just going to tell you that Jason Witten had 83 targets last year and Randall Cobb had 83 targets last year. That's 166 targets.
I know. I'm aware.
And for some reason, people are saying that Lamb's going to play in the slot, but I really see Cooper in the slot.
Amari.
He used to go to the slot.
As a Cowboys fan, I want Amari in the slot.
That makes the most sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you have Lamb playing the X basically, and then Cooper in the slot.
At the Z. Yep.
Dude, that's
all we need is Dallas Goedert if the Eagles didn't jump us 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
1 pick.
That's and they paid Jarwin. Actually, if you look at Jarwin's efficiency the last couple of years, he's done really well on points per route run. So it's a nice group, man. They're going to be productive, and I think it's a great landing spot. I'm completely contrary to the general consensus. I think it's a fantastic landing spot.
I think it's much better than people are giving it credit for.
So where is he at?
Maybe, but
in your Superflex ranks, where do you have Lamb at? If you didn't have any kind of roster, like you're just drafting in a vacuum.
For the rookies?
Yeah.
I'd still have him behind the 2 quarterbacks and the 5 running backs, just because of scarcity.
I have him at 4 behind the quarterbacks, and
then the Taylor or Swift behind Dobbins and CEH, or behind Dobbins and
no, I have him like Burrow, Tua, Herbert, and then Lamb. My top 4. Just if I'm looking like career dynasty wise.
Well, that depends. Are you going to own it for your entire?
Well, some people treat dynasty like dynasty. Some people like you trade a player like a hot potato. So it just depends on your philosophy.
It's all about gaining value. If I can gain value, I'm going to gain value.
Yeah, I'd have him at 3. So.
Yeah, so he's up there.
Yeah. He's definitely up there.
So when you're in a super flex draft and he's dropping to 7 or 8, I would try to trade up and get him if you can.
Going ham to get him, yeah. Okay, so are we saying?
So then I think it has to be George Puffett too.
Okay, I got him at 3. That works.
Who do you have? You have yourself ahead of him? Yeah.
I think the top 3 is pretty.
I think his top 3 are better than your top 3.
But as far as top 3 rankings, who's your third team?
Oh, probably Junior.
Really?
He's got Amari, Kenny Galladay, and then Cooper Kupp. I know the rest is wide crap, but he's got 3 top 10 wide receivers. Unless Lamb takes over there, which is a possibility, Amari is going to be a top 10 wide receiver, I think. Galladay was a top 10 wide receiver last year, and so was Cooper Kupp. And that was a down year for Cooper Kupp, relatively speaking. But he has nothing else, so I can see that put him lower.
So
I got him at number 5.
Well, I can see that argument.
Would you take his wide receivers over your own?
No.
Okay, so why do you have him above you?
I felt bad for him, I'll be honest. I wanted to give him something.
Is Junior in here tonight? I haven't seen him make a comment.
I haven't seen him yet. No, other than the top 3, he has nothing though. So could see.
I just think Edelman's in for a big downtick without Brady.
Oh yeah, without Brady, I think that whole offense is. But
I mean, he has no depth.
Zero depth.
His overall core is super old. And all these guys have basically, I mean, Fitz, Edelman, Galladay, Cup, all these guys are in the last year of their deal.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have future uncertainty. So I don't
Even with Amari, I mean,
you got like
has that out.
I have him at like 8.
yeah.
I
got him at 5. I mean, they're gonna be good this year at least.
Yeah, and I mean they are all only. I think the oldest one's 27. 20. Yeah, because Cub's 27, and then Galladay is also 27, and Amari's 26. So, or 25. He'll be 26 sometime in June.
Yeah,
but I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure I put him there because I felt bad.
it's not personal.
No, I could see the argument to move him down. I wouldn't put him under Scott's wide receivers. Oh no, never mind. No.
Well, you guys are big on Deontay Johnson, though, right?
And Preston Williams.
Yeah, I've been buying Deontay Johnson. Is my
You have Slayton too now.
for wide receivers.
Is he worth a 2021 first?
No.
Is him and Will Fuller worth a 2021 first?
No.
To get together, the two of them aren't worth a 2021 first? Oh.
No. Nope. Zero interest.
Scott, that guy we were messaging you about his stupid trade. That was Mick pulled that one today. Those two guys for a 2021 first and something else.
Not surprised.
I think I sent him back like a third I got a fourth back. That's what it was.
That's stupid.
He was very.
He's going to be an orphan next year, I think.
Yeah.
Interested in Will Fuller.
Fleeced.
That pick is a top 5 pick without a doubt. But anyway, so at 2 we definitely have Puff, right? Well, no, because Ross wants.
I got him at 3. I'm not going to quibble about
That's
spot.
I'm with that. There were 3 number 5s like in my point system that went out. So that was Ross, Puff, and
I could see
that's my top 3.
Yeah,
Ross above Puff if Juju doesn't bounce back and if Diggs struggles in Buffalo.
I would guess Diggs struggles early on, but they'll
figure it out.
He'll be fine.
If you listen to podcasts at all, you've heard this already, but Josh Allen made Zay Jones and Robert
Foster.
Robert Foster top 26 wide receivers for the last 8 games of the season 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Yep.
Diggs is much better than any wide receiver he's ever played with. So then who do you have at 4?
I got you. With the addition of Scary Terry.
Yeah, I'd have you right there, and also Jackson 5 would be right behind that.
I got him at 6, right behind Coop Squad.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I like my starting 3 more than his.
Yes.
But he has so much depth.
I like his addition of Ruggs and Jefferson.
Yeah.
There's a nice combo there because you kind of have like the safety high floor of Jefferson, and then you have the Ruggs upside to pair with Keenan Allen. So yeah, and Jarvis is always underrated. So yeah, I really like that group a lot.
He's got a lot of speed in that group. He's got Ruggs, Marquise Brown, Hardman, John Ross.
Yeah,
he's probably got I think he has all of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL right now, other than Hill.
Marvin Jones even.
What was Equanimous? He ran a pretty fast 40, didn't he? Maybe not.
I think it was
one of them was slow. One of them was fast. I don't remember which one out of the 3 that they took that year. But yeah,
MBS fast one.
It's a good group. It's a nice mixture of
4-4-8
outside vets, rookies. It's a good group. I like it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So then we'd be on to. Wait, so
that was probably top 6 then, right?
Top 6, yeah.
Yeah.
was it
So
6?
then I have like kind of a tier, like the next tier,
Okay.
basically, which is a few teams.
You want to just list them off?
Dustin, Cody, Steve, and myself. In that order.
In
pretty
that
much. Yeah.
Was that Skull Chef Cody, right?
Yeah.
Or,
because Cody.
yeah, we.
Correct.
So Skull Chef.
So
Yeah, I can see
I've
that.
got you and Steve, but I've actually got Mike at number 9, Meadow Militia, just ahead of Skull Chef.
Because of the upside of Godwin and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was hard for me because I feel like Godwin is. I mean, he's a stud, but like, what else does he have?
Outside of
Judy.
Godwin.
Yeah.
He's got Judy and Kirk, who
I think he's just got like the most high floor PPR reception guys, like Godwin, Judy, Christian Kirk, Sterling Shepard. They're not going to excite you, but they're going to be catching 6 to 8 passes a game.
That's true. That's true.
But if Lockett can keep it up and Julio doesn't drop off, I mean, Devontae Parker.
I mean, if Parker can do.
Parker got no competition.
No,
So,
he's going to drop back. But
more
even
contributor.
before Preston Williams went down, he was already having a good season. It wasn't a top 12 season, but it was a good season.
But it's his only good season. That's the problem.
That's true.
But
I mean, he's got that good for
people forget they changed OCs. They fired Chad O'Shea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different offense for Miami. That's kind of an under the radar thing that happened. People don't realize. So they brought in the old man Chan Gailey to run those RPOs with Tua. So
it'll be interesting. But,
Parker should get volume again.
I mean, before Preston went down, week 1 he had 3 receptions, 75 yards. Week 2, he didn't play. Week 3, he had 3 receptions, 56 yards. Week 4, 4 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. And then after that, he just went ham. So
Yeah,
I mean, he had a solid season for sure.
he was already a good season. And then when Williams went down, there was nothing else there other than Gesicki, which is, I hate to say it, but Gesicki's numbers could have been inflated because of that when he had the stretch at the end of the season. But they're talking about using him in the slot now. So,
Did you guys have the dealer ahead of Metal Militia?
Mm-hmm.
I had the dealer at 11.
Woods, Thielen, Cooks.
I had him ahead of him. Wait,
Yeah, I had him ahead of him too. I like
let's look at that group.
Ayuk and Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller is underrated right now. I mean,
Thielen and Woods is going to give you that high floor. Then guys like Cooks, Miller,
It just hinges on Cooks if you think he can stay healthy or not. I
Ayuk.
guess.
I think Miller will be his third wide receiver.
Yeah, so he has like a high floor, and then the upside pieces to plug in there. So I feel like he's going to get a nice point total every week, and then he'll have those big weeks too out of it with those guys, some of those flex guys. So in Chicago, there's no competition for targets. I mean, it's A-Rob and it's Miller. So
you don't think Thielen might fall off in his age 30 season?
No, not. I mean, who's there other than Justin Jefferson?
no, if he's back healthy, I mean, they really don't have anyone else besides like Olabisi Johnson and.
I mean, he played 10 games and he averaged 4.8 targets per game last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They just don't throw it. They just don't throw it that much.
I'm not a guy. I'm not a Thielen guy. So
Their defense is going to be shit this year. They lost 3 DBs, so they're gonna have to pass the ball.
So you think that's like a bounce back maybe by Adam Thielen if you're completely sure?
I wouldn't touch him.
I wouldn't buy Adam Thielen, but I think he's gonna. If you have him, he's a hold. I wouldn't be selling, but I
Well, you
wouldn't buy
can't get anything for him. That's the problem.
And he's worth. He's at the point that he's worth more on your roster, just like Julio is, or
Yeah. Well,
any of those older guys.
Bobby Trees is just chugging along, and he'll continue to. So,
But Dustin said he has himself at the bottom. His wide receivers suck, in his words.
You're
okay then.
let me get to number 12, and then you'll
Yeah,
see.
I think they're next to last, in my opinion.
I would say I could see the argument for them being next to last, but number 12 was fairly obvious, I think. What did you guys think? Who do you have got? I guess let's make sure that we have the same number 12 first.
I got the guy that's on a beer run right now, I think.
Yeah, me too. I mean, when your number 3 wide receiver is maybe Steven Sims.
Wait, number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah, his third wide receiver is probably going to end up being Steven Sims.
So you have Sims above Tyreek, Michael Pittman, T.Y. Hilton, and James Washington?
No, I have him over James Washington. I said number 3.
Yeah, so he's got Tyreek, Michael Pittman, and T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, I didn't see Pittman on there. Well, either way, I mean,
Yeah.
we
agree he's number 12, but
he's either relying on a rookie and it doesn't. Hilton and Pittman are on the same team, so I don't love the idea of starting the same wide receiver or 2 wide receivers for the same team. But I definitely have him 12. So we got those all squared away, more or less, or just hashed over.
Yeah.
Let's go on to tight ends.
Okay.
And number 1,
2 top teams for me.
2 top teams. I better be in that group.
Clear top teams.
you're not in that group for me.
You're not in that group.
Fuck you guys.
I have you at
You're
like
number 7.
No,
It's pretty close to 2, right?
Battle Militia and the Empire.
So I've got actually Jackson 5 in the Empire, my top 2. I got Militia at 3.
I was kind of doing that really fast. That last one I was running out of time, so let me take a look at.
I think the Empire is obviously number 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that obvious, but I could see he's got a lot of depth for sure.
I mean, Ertz is going to score roughly the same as Kittle this year. They have for the past 2 seasons, unless Ertz takes a big step back in his age 29 season.
I think for 2020 only, I might take Doyle over Ingram just because of the health of Ingram. I just think Doyle is underrated with the Colts with Phillip Rivers there.
But
Does he have Ertz?
What did he got cut by the Bears? I mean, you really believe in Trey Burton?
dude,
on his third team, done nothing.
He has George Kittle, and that's it. Let's be honest. If you
I think Jack Doyle is a top 12 tight end this year for 2020.
Wow.
I can see the argument for it, but I don't.
I mean, I might be on an island, but I think he's a top 12. He's in the tight end number 1 this year.
Steve thinks that you have the best wide receiver or the best tight ends.
No, that can't be tight ends.
That's what he's saying. I mean, I do love your Irv Smith and Jay Sternberger, and then you have Gronk. I mean,
I love him too, but I put myself at 6.
that's
So tight ends kind of like it's really those kind of. I mean, yeah, Jackson 5 has Kittle, but I don't see him having much depth. If you want to say Doyle's in there, that's fine, but still.
Once you get past the first,
After that group, I mean, there's really like a bottom 2 for me, a bottom 3, but then like 4 through 9 is pretty much
take your pick.
pretty much all the same to me.
Who's your favorite wide receiver of that group, or not wide receiver, tight end of that group?
Like I don't have any for my team. I don't have like any top guys.
No, but you can stream.
But I have enough options here, like Jared Cook and like Johnny Smith and Blake Jarwin. Both of those guys are taken over as their number 1s for their teams. So they should give me, I could play matchups or whatever. And Cook actually had a pretty good year last year. He scored a lot of touchdowns. So if he doesn't get the touchdowns, obviously that's, going to hurt. And maybe with Emmanuel Sanders, he doesn't, he doesn't produce like that. but I feel like I have enough depth and options to figure it out. But I don't have like any of the top guys, so that's where I would put the other teams in with it. I wouldn't say one's better than the other, but one injury is going to take out some of these teams, whereas I can sustain with an injury at least a floor every week, although even if I don't have the ceiling.
Yeah. But in this league, like we were talking about last night, I mean, those top 4 guys scored so much more than the next.
That's why that's kind of that top tier.
It's gotta be.
After that, it's if you don't have one of those guys, it's pretty much all the same. Like you have a guy that could be, a 5, end up 5 or 6 for the year, or you have a bunch of guys that you can stream and hopefully, if
Play
like
the right matchup.
I can stream and end up with the cumulative like tight end 10 on the year, I'll be fine.
I mean, that's why I have Kittle at number 1, though, because
Other than
I could see a scenario.
giving up
What?
over 200 points. So,
I mean, you could see a scenario where Ertz takes a step back with Goddard, Ingram gets hurt, and then you're relying on Chris Herndon and Hurst.
That's true.
I just think Kittle is like a lock to be top 2, top 3 tight end.
I mean, relying on Herndon and Hurst you could be relying on a lot worse than that, I think.
Oh, that's true. I just think Kittle's a lot safer than Ertz and Ingram. That's why I have him at number 1. But I agree. The top. Do you have Cody at number 3 at least?
Yeah,
With Kittle. So I think the top 3 is pretty standard.
Yeah. that's what I'm saying. The top 3, but then basically 4 through like 9, it's whatever. I don't have anyone that stands out there as like a next 4 or 5, unless you guys do.
I mean, not really. Who do you have the last 2?
So I have a bottom like 3 or 4. And in my point system here, a 1 through 5, right? There was only one given out. There's only one instance, one position group that got a 1, and that was Silence of the Lambs tight ends.
Really? I actually have him at 11.
Okay. Yeah, so I had him at 12.
I mean, I get Goddard was in a perfect situation last year, and he was tight end 11.
I mean, at the same time, we could say that like if Ertz got hurt, Goddard could be like the number 1 tight end. It wouldn't be surprising.
That's entirely possible, but I don't want to rely on injury.
Your best tight end is the number 2 tight end on his own team. And then, Cameron Bray, I mean, there's 2 other he's the 3rd tight end there. Jimmy Graham, he's been dead for 3 years. Jesse James, Vance McDonald, those guys are like the 3rd tight ends on their teams. Jordan Reed retired.
Did he retire yet? I thought he just got cut and was looking to catch on.
No, he retired.
He needs to retire.
And then, the rookies are whatever and never, rookie tight ends never do anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that's clearly the worst group.
But still, you wouldn't take that group over Austin Hooper in a new offense with all those weapons, Darren Fells and Jason Witten.
Yeah, I have him at 11, but yes, I would take that group. Darren Fells is the shit, man.
All right, do we want to do our consensus rankings then?
Yeah. Start from the bottom?
Yeah, start from the bottom.
So this is consensus as total roster and lineup combined, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, start from the bottom. Scott, let's hear yours.
I have Coop Squad at 12.
Agreed.
I won't argue with that.
Okay, I have Silence of the Lamb at 11.
I actually have Count Druncula at 11.
I have Count Druncula at 11 as well.
Okay, I have him at 10. So do you want to take a look at that real quick?
Oh, actually, I'm gonna put yours in here, Scott. I've already got mixed. I'm gonna do an overall consensus.
Okay, cool.
So who did you have at 11?
Okay, so I had Coop Squad at 12, Silence at 11, and Count at 10.
10. Okay.
The reason I had Silence at 11 versus Count is Count has a better overall roster. Silence has great wide receivers, so he has very, very strong receivers to build around, which is, I mean, that's a strategy that I use in a lot of dynasty startups. So I don't disagree with it at all. Like, it's not a knock on that team at all by any means. It's just the way it currently sits. I feel that he's one of the weakest quarterback groups, one of the weakest running back groups, and the weakest tight end group. So that's why I have him at 11. Whereas Count Druncula has nice quarterbacks to build around.
The best running back.
So,
but his depth is bad.
Yeah,
I just don't think his starting lineup can compete.
No, his starting. I don't think. I mean, he's going to end up starting Sony and Pittman in his flex.
Eesh.
Or James Washington, yeah.
Yeah, or AJ Green, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a second, guys.
That's true. I wouldn't put up a big fight there. I think probably the age of Count's team hurts him too. So a few of those.
If we're factoring in alcohol, he vaults to the top.
Absolutely, I got to give
100%.
Got to give him the edge there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine swapping those guys, but for consensus. But otherwise, I did have Silence 11.
Yeah, so I've got myself and Mick's rankings. So I'm going to take your rankings and we're going to average them out. We'll do a consensus group. So
all right, cool.
So you got 12, 10, 11. Who do you have at number 9?
Okay, at number 9, I have Metal Militia and the Dealer both came in with 13 total points.
So tied for 8?
The Dealer has a better overall squad, but Metal Militia had better running backs and tight ends. So
are you going to tie him for 8?
No, I'll do a little tiebreaker really quick here.
I mean, I have ties in mine. I don't think Mick does.
Okay.
Yeah, you can leave a tie.
So
we're going to average them out anyway.
You do them at tie for 8, right? Okay.
So Metal Militia, wow. I think Mick and I have him in the top 4.
I mean, he has a great running back and a great tight end group, but I had quarterbacks and wide receivers. I have those groups with the most weight, because those are going to be your highest scoring positional groups, just based on the fact you have to start 3 wide receivers, right? So your positional group scoring, the bulk of it's going to come from quarterbacks and wide receivers. Now with the tight end premium, obviously that could certainly balance out in some cases, and that's where he's going to make up a lot with that tight end group. So I would not be surprised by any means if he was a playoff team.
I actually have Higbee as his second flex.
Yeah. Okay.
If I was filling out his lineup, I would put Higbee in there.
I agree.
So where do you land on Locke? Because I think he's got a lot of potential, but some people might think he's, not a top quarterback.
No, I'm high on him for sure. Like I actually didn't like him a lot when he came out, like from college. I did not like him a lot, but you can't deny what they're doing with all the weapons they're putting around him. So it's he definitely has all the opportunity to succeed there.
Okay, so let me just go through. So you got your 12 through 9. Let me just give you mine. So I've got Coop Squad 12, Count 11. I've actually got you 10.
Okay.
And then I've got the Dealer at 9.
So I also have the Dealer. Yeah.
You had him at 8, yeah.
I had him at 8, yeah. So the Dealer 8. Yeah, well, no, that's fine. So put the Dealer 9, and put Metal Militia 8.
Okay, so let's switch yours up.
Yeah. And then
So let me read you Mick's real quick. I think he's going to be gone for the rest of the stream. Here, so.
okay.
So Mick has he's got you 12 actually. He's got you dead last.
Awesome.
I wish he was here to explain that.
I know. Oh man. That's all right.
He said his wife is having some labor pains, so he's gonna
Well,
deal with that
let's
right
let him take care of that.
now. Obviously, yeah. Is it your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Okay.
The neighbor.
So he's got you 12. He's got Count 11. He's got Coop Squad 10, and then he's got Elliot at 9. Silence of the Lamb.
Okay.
So I guess that leaves us at, so you got Metal Militia 8. So I've got Silence of the Lamb at 8, and he's got Cody Jackson 5 at 8.
Okay.
So who do you have after, just above Metal Militia?
So I have myself. So again, this is the point.
At 7?
Right. So I'm at 7 and I have you at 6.
Okay. Yeah, Mick's got me at 7, so that's right in the range.
Okay. And then I have. See, I think this is where, like last time, this was the big difference. Even when we did the 36 team league, that was kind of I was looking at more the overall and like the positional group point system, whereas he was looking at like who's gonna win this year, like who's gonna be a playoff team.
Right.
So like that was where our rankings differ. So they're not really apples to apples. This is more of like so mine would be more of like a 3-year window, right? So 3 years, like where if we averaged everyone's finishes over the next 3 years, where would this come out, right?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, okay. So in that case, I have with 14 points would be Cody. So
which Cody?
Cody Skull Chef would be 5.
Okay.
And again, like he's going to be top heavy right now, right? Like he could win this year. I would not be surprised if he won.
Yeah, I've got him at 2.
Yeah. So
I actually, Mick and I both have him at 2.
But he has a really old roster. So next
that
year,
could fall off a cliff.
2 years from now, he's going to have to completely rebuild, I would guess. So if you look at it from that standpoint, like it makes sense. I definitely could see him winning this year. Okay. So then with 15 points,
before we get to this next team with Skull Chef, we should put together an average age of his roster every year because I think it's never going to dip below 29.
Oh my God. Yeah, we got to do that. That's hilarious.
He loves those old guys.
Yeah. Oh man. He went for him. No doubt about that. I mean, he has like Nick Chubb, but like even Raheem Mostert, is like 28.
Tevin Coleman's up there. Drew Brees, obviously. Kelsey.
Brees.
He does have Sam Darnold, though.
He does have Darnold. Yep. I told him I'd be happy to trade him like a Goff or something to help his average age there. But I mean,
he wants it to be high. That's the thing about it. When we're zigging, he's zagging. He's like, you guys are going young for dynasty. I'm going old.
I mean, if he wins this year, right, then that basically buys him a few years of he's got his buy-in paid for a few years, and then he can rebuild it and then start over again. So, like it could work.
In theory, it works, but I don't think he is capable of rebuilding because he's like an ageist in the opposite way. It's like, you're too young for me.
Yeah. He's the opposite. Like, he doesn't want anyone under 26, and Mick wants no one over 26.
Well, that's why it's hilarious that they're co-owning a team in the other league.
I know.
I want to be a fly on the wall in their conversations they have.
Exactly. I cannot imagine what's going to come from that. So, Cody, you'll have to fill us in on how that's going and keep us updated for sure. Okay, so I had Skull Chefs at 5. All right, that leaves 4 teams then. So I have the other Cody
at 4.
At 4. And then I had Mick at 3. And then it came down to George Puff and the Empire were both tied with 16 points.
So tie for one, or are you going to break it?
No, I'm going to break it. The wide receiver group went to George Puff. He had the 5-3 advantage there, but the Empire made up for it with tight ends at a 5-3 advantage. He was just behind in running backs, but I have running backs weighted as the least weight in the group, and with quarterbacks being the highest, he had a 5-4 advantage there. And so because of that, I'm going to put Empire at 1 over George Puff at 2.
Okay, so I've got Nick and myself's rankings. Do you want me to read through our rankings as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do mine first. So I've got Coop Squad 12, Count Druncula 11, yourself at 10, the Dealer 9, Silence of the Lamb 8, Cody with a K 7, George Puff 5, Mick and George Puff actually tied at 5.
Okay.
I got myself at 4. I've got Metal Militia at 3, Skull Chef at 2, and the Empire at 1.
Okay.
And my rankings were basically I took an overall roster of which roster I'd rather have, and then I also took a starting lineup for this year, and I weighted the starting lineup at 60% and the overall at 40%, and then I averaged those out.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's how I did mine, and then let's go to Mix here. He's got you at 12. Count at 11, Coop Squad 10.
He gave the most weight to this year.
I'm not sure what he did.
Yeah, that's what he did last time. So I'm assuming.
Okay.
So I get that. Like I agree, because a lot of my guys, I went with a lot of guys that were undervalued, and I'm hoping that their value increases, which is how I'm going to improve my roster. So that makes total sense to me why he would have me at 12 if he's giving the most weight to this year.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara, Goff, and Beckham could easily bounce back and put you right up in in the mix.
Exactly.
So that makes sense. So he's got the Dealer at 9, Cody Jackson 5 at 8. He's got himself at 7. He's got me at 6, George Puff at 5, Silence of the Lamb at 4, Metal Militia 3, Skull Chef 2, and the Empire at 1.
Okay, so I mean, we did have 4 or 5.
Oh wait, actually, hold on. I think I was reading the wrong thing there. I was on the wrong tab. Let me try that again.
All right.
So you at 12, Count Druncula at 11, Coop Squad at 10,
Close.
Silence of the Lamb at 9,
Close.
Jackson 5, 8. He's got me at 7, the Dealer at 6, George Puff 5, Metal Militia 4, himself at 3, Skull Chef at 2, and the Empire 1.
Okay.
So I was actually reading my own starting lineup ranks in that last one.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities then. We just have a few guys flipped, and I think it does make sense where I'm looking at like kind of a 3-year window, and he's looking at giving the most weight to this year. So definitely, I would agree with what you guys have based on how you did it. I don't have objections from that standpoint. I just wanted to try to be different with doing like this point system, and I like the way it worked out in our 36 team league. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think I would have to modify it more for a 12 team league. I think I need to modify it somehow to make it more. Or I guess I could do 2 versions. One of where like I could rank teams for this year, and then also rank them for long term.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I just put a heavier weight to this year just because you don't know what's going to happen next year, the 2 years after.
Sure.
Things can change. So, But after having those rankings, we have a composite for the 3 of us now. If you want me to go through those.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's start at 12.
So basically, I just took all the ranks and divided them by a third. So we've got a total score here. So bringing up the rear with an 11.2 out of 12 is yourself. So you got a 12, a 10, and a 7.
Nice.
We've got a Count at 11, Coop Squad at a 10.8, Silence of the Lamb at 8.6, Cody Jackson 5 at 7.6, the Dealer at 7.2, myself Kingsman at 5.8, George Puff at 5, Mick Trades R Us at 3.8, Mental Militia Mike is at 3.6. And then Skull Chef is at a 2, and the Empire Steve is at a consensus 1 across the board. So targets on his back, he's definitely not going to win this year. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
So, Steve, if you're still listening, sorry, buddy, but you're consensus number 1, which is probably not a good thing.
We've officially jinxed you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's great. I think, yeah, I mean, regardless, you could see a situation where, like, let's say Nick Foles doesn't win the job, Dak holds out, Watson regresses without Hopkins, AJ Brown doesn't come on as strong, has a sophomore slump, Slayton disappears, like you could see it. Carson doesn't come back from injury, James Conner gets hurt,
Tyler Boyd disappears because T.
Higgins give out. Aaron Jones gets usurped by AJ. Okay, no, that won't happen. But yeah, I mean, you could come up with any scenario like that for. It's the NFL, man. Anything can happen. But I would bet Steve doesn't even make the playoffs now that we've changed.
Oh no. Well, I guess we're at the point now. If got any, additional thoughts or outlook for the season, or any questions from the chirpers in the comment section.
Yeah.
Steve doesn't like us putting him number 1.
Gallery there. Cody number 2, but remember, Cody. You got to win this year, dude. Like this
is your window.
This is it. Your window's now, like yesterday. I'm definitely gonna do an average age of your team, just because I can't imagine there's anyone in the history of Dynasty with an older team. And you don't even have a first and second next year, which, well, I guess that's fine, because if you're going to win this year, they'd be late. So that's okay. But yeah, man, you might want to start looking at those 22 picks.
Well, let's take a look at his draft real quick from this year, since he's in a win now window.
Yeah.
So he's got 304 Jalen Hurts, 312 KJ Hamler,
He
409.
traded other picks in the startup, I think, his early picks.
He probably did. I think so. So he's got Dalton Keene, 409, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 410, Courtney Davis, who's one of my favorite receivers, but probably not going to do much anytime soon.
So he was all over. Yeah.
He's got James Morgan backing up Sam Darnold, hopefully, at 607, and then Raymond Calais at 610. So I don't think he has that much reinforcements coming. So
no, he's got a couple guys that could possibly get some snaps, but fantasy relevance, not so much.
So we got a question in the gallery: is why do I hate the app so much? So before I answer that, I want Scott, what do you think about the app? Like, how do you check your teams on MFL?
Okay, are you using MFL Premium or Platinum? Sorry,
I don't use any of it. I don't like the apps.
So I'm mostly on. If you could see, I have dual monitors set up. Number one, I have this here this is my home office and at my my real estate office. So I have dual monitors. I have my laptop. I have a laptop to the left of me. I have a tablet here. I have an Ultrabook. Like, I'm mostly on the computer. There's actually
your desktop version.
So I'm mostly desktop.
Okay. Me too.
However, I have both versions of MFL on my phone. I don't know if you can see that, but
MFL Mobile and Platinum.
MFL Mobile and MFL Platinum. I use both of those. And there's a couple features actually that I like on MFL Mobile. One of them is called positional point differentials. And it actually will break down each position group for each team in your league, and you can like identify. So like, let's say you need a running back. So you can go in to that positional group and it'll break it down and show the positive guys. And then it might show like, oh, this guy's super low at wide receiver. So then I can say, all right, I'm going to offer this guy a wide receiver. So then I use that for trades. I have yet to find that in the desktop version. Like, I don't know where that is, but for some reason it's on that MFL app. So that's what I use that app for. I also use, the reason I use 2 is because the leagues that roll over right away, once possible, I'll keep those on platinum. And then the ones that take longer, I put those on the other ones. So that way, during that transitional period earlier in the year, I make sure that I have access to both my leagues. I'll draft from the app if I have to. Like, I can do anything and everything. I have no issues with the apps. I've never had any issues. So I don't know what the big deal is.
So it looks like you have an Android, or is that an iPhone?
iPhone.
Okay, so what browser do you use when you're looking up like internet links or whatever?
I have Chrome, Firefox, and Safari.
Or Safari. So have you ever gone to MFL on those apps?
Yeah.
Because you get the desktop version right there on an app on your phone.
Yeah, so actually what I do is there's an even better way to do it. I will go to, from the app, you can
League Home.
You can go to League Home, and then literally go to League Home, and then like
at the top,
it's right there, and now it's boom. There you go. There's a desktop version.
So that took you 2 clicks to get to the desktop version.
Yep.
Or you can leave a Safari page open to the League Home and have the desktop version there and do everything you can do on the desktop.
Yeah, but I have 50 leagues.
Well, no, I'm not. No, not you, like the general you. So, like when Dustin asked me why I hate the app, because he's always asking, "Hey, where do I find this in the app? Why can't I find this in the app?" Because it's a third party that creates API calls into MFL.
Okay.
And I'm like, why don't you just use your Safari browser app?
Yes.
To look into the desktop site.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me why everybody's like, I gotta have an app. I gotta have an app. Well, Safari is an app.
You don't need.
Breaking news: a browser app is an app. You can get to it on your phone just very easily.
That was happening with I think it was setting keepers. Like I have a keeper league that's on ESPN, like a home league, and people are like,
gosh,
my keepers. Like, guys, just go to ESPN.com. And they're like, no, it's not working on the app. I was like, dude, go to the browser and type in ESPN.com, and then you can select your keepers. Like, totally.
Safari is an app, people. Like, you can get to it on your phone.
Yes.
This is a third party. They're not even affiliated with MFL, Platinum, or the other one you have. They're both third parties, so they're doing the best they can, but they're not. It's not the same as MFL. So if you wonder why is this not on the app, it's because it's not an MFL app.
There because they didn't put it there.
But the positional breakdown is interesting. I never heard that before. So I don't think I've seen it on the desktop either.
I have yet to find that anywhere. I know there are a lot of different things on here.
Is it the same thing as like Fantasy Pros? It's like recommend to trade or the positional rankings?
Yeah, I guess it could be like that. So I would actually, let's see if I can get to it. I don't think I can because, here.
Actually, while we're on the topic of Fantasy Pros, I might as well pull up their rankings and see what they say about our league.
Oh, yeah. I may not be able to do it right now. You have to be in season, I think, unfortunately.
For the trades?
Positional.
Oh, on the MFL app.
Because you need stats. I don't think it pulls it from like the last season, or it doesn't update like.
So it's like a redraft function.
No, it'll be there after the season, but once you roll over to the new league year and you don't have stats for the new year, it doesn't work.
But if it's telling you like this position is weak at running back, is that looking at for this year or for dynasty rankings?
No, it's for what's actually happening. So here I found it. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Shit. It doesn't look clear to me. I don't know what that looks like to you, but do you see this positional?
Yeah, the next to last one.
Okay. So if I go there, it pulls up all the teams in the league.
Okay.
I can click on any team, and then it pulls up the positions.
Is that a point differential you said?
Yeah. So
that wide receiver group is predicted to pour
wide receiver
261 over average. Is that what it is?
so massively, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So now I can see like, okay, my receivers are stacked, and it looks like I need some tight end help, right? So I would need to add a tight end or something in that group, right?
So is that points for 2020?
So this was based on actual stats from 2019.
Okay.
These are
So it's saying
the stats for 2019.
So last year your receivers would have been great.
61 points ahead of average for wide receiver from the baseline, that's absolutely insane. Like I smashed because I had like Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Julian Edelman, guys like that. So I actually, slayed.
Well, that's a cool feature on that app. I've never seen that one before.
So like I pull up this team, right, and look at how stacked his running backs are, and then his wide receivers are below average, right? So now I would go to this guy, and this would be a good trade target for me, to pick up a running back and trade him a wide receiver.
It makes sense. So actually, are you curious to see what the Fantasy Pros say about our league here? So for 2020, the projected standings are, let's see here. So it's got myself at number 12. It's got Elliott, Silence of the Lamb at number 11. Count Druncula at 10. The Dealer at 9. Jackson 5 at 8. Coop Squad at 7. You, Lord Chicken McDicken at 6. The Empire at 5.
Wrong.
Metal Militia at 4. George Puff at 3. Trader Us at 2. And Skull Chef at 1.
Yeah, there you go. What's the
So for all mixed talk about doo-doo butter, Fantasy Pros has him at number 2 overall. Just as he's entering the room, he heard us talking about him.
Yeah, I know. We said Fantasy Bros and he came back. Oh shit, that's so funny. Wow, interesting.
Hey Mick, we were pulling up Fantasy Pros. If you can hear us.
Yep.
So Fantasy Pros has you number 2 for this year.
Oh.
Doo-doo butter.
They had me as a playoff team. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
They have Steve at number 5.
Yeah, so they're wrong.
So let's go to Dynasty rankings. So this one's got Coop Squad at 12, The Dealer at 11, Count Druncula at 10, Silence of the Lamb 9, Metal Militia 8, The Empire 7, Kingsman 6, Jackson 5 at 5, Skull Chef at 4, Lord Chicken McDicken at 3, Trader Us at 2, and George Puff at number 1.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why are they so low
On Steve? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
like what on his team?
We did have him consensus across the board number 1.
I mean, it'd be hard not to. His wide receivers, they're not great, but they're not a weakness.
They're fine, but yeah, his tight ends and quarterbacks are legit.
Mm-hmm.
They must not be believers in Chris Carson or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it's all about DJ Dallas, baby.
So, Mick, is everything good over there, by the way?
yeah.
Good to go.
She just, with our first kid, she had really intense Braxton Hicks contractions.
Oh, you were telling me about that, yeah.
And we went into the hospital and were there for 2 days, and they ended up just being Braxton Hicks contractions. Like, the doctors didn't even know. Like, they were tracking him and everything, and they were. So, that's probably what's going on. She was able to fall asleep, so.
That's good.
But.
So we're glad you came back because Scott wants to know why you have him at 12.
I honestly, I redid my rankings today, and the rankings I gave Ross were my rankings from Sunday. I redid my rankings today. I hadn't gotten all the way through them yet, but you were There's at
He
least
ended up number 12 in our consensus rankings, by the way.
because of it.
Yeah.
Really, number 12?
You had him 12, I had him 10, and he had himself 7.
So I think what we did, and this happened with because we started this with the 36 team league where I did my point system, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at positional groups and looking at like the positional group point scoring system is going to be a little bit different than what you guys have, but it also is more like a 3-year, window type of thing. So whereas I think you're like waiting more like this year. So like I agree, I would have myself much, much lower this year, but then I have a lot of guys that I feel are undervalued, and then
your wide receivers, your starting wide receivers aren't great.
But Fantasy Pros has them at number 6 for this year.
Really?
Because they know those guys are going to rebound.
Odell, Ridley, Deontay.
They've got you at 5 QB, 7 running back, 8 tight end, 9 receiver, 12 flex, but 6 overall.
For me, it was the flex that pulled you down.
Flex too low.
You right now your flex is probably Jonnu and Preston.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Where
I've got Jonnu and Deontay, but I've got Preston as a starting wide receiver.
I think his starting wide receiver is going to be Odell, Ridley, and Deontay.
Okay, so Preston and Deontay, this all in.
Yeah, I mean they're both in there.
Yeah. I don't know. I decided I'm not setting lineups this year because I hate doing it. So I'm going to use the Fantasy Pros
to
set all your lineups.
Yeah. I pay attention to a couple leagues that like I care about. Like
this one, Ryan?
That I'm competing in.
You're number 6 by Fantasy Pros. How's that not competing?
All right, well,
you're not competing in all of your leagues?
This is named the Prime League because it should be your number 1.
It's only a $25 buy-in.
Not monetarily, but in your heart.
True. I'm going for a 3-peat in a league. I need to focus on that. I actually traded away all my players, so I'm not going to win that.
So what's your biggest buy-in in leagues?
I got out of most. Once I got married and shit, I had to stop doing those $1,000 leagues.
My biggest right now is
I have
750.
200's my biggest now.
Wow.
Most of them are 75, 50, 100, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, my biggest is 100.
Yeah.
I have the one 750, a 400.
The back-to-back one is 100, so that was nice. That was 1,500.
What's the payout for like a $750 or a $1,000 league?
It depends. There's weekly payouts for the highest scorer in both of those, which is kind of nice. But
that's how mine was too.
Which is really nice. You win 2 or 3 weeks, and even if you don't make the playoffs, you get your money back. So it's not as horrible if you're rebuilding and you just have high upside guys. But so what did the consensus end up being? Because other than Scott, my rankings were more or less the same. Scott, I could probably end up moving to like 8 or 9, and then just everyone else down.
So the consensus is Scott 12, Count Druncula 11, Coop Squad 10, Silence of the Lamb 9, Jackson 5 8, The Dealer 7, Kingsman 6, George Puff 5, Trades Are Us 4, Meta Militia 3, Skull Chef 2, and the Empire 1.
That's
consensus number 1 for the Empire.
That
makes sense, right?
That's really close to my rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really close to your rankings, Mick.
I think
you had like 2 of them flipped.
Yeah. You and the Dealer, and then obviously Scott being. Well, no, Scott's 12 on mine.
And then you and Metal Militia flip those 2, and you're right on.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing was that Scott had Metal Militia at 8.
Huh.
I had him 3. You had him 4.
Yeah.
Why'd you have him at 8?
But again, I think that's because more like the 3-year window, right?
Yeah.
So I have
I mean,
four
Brady
groups. The highest weights are quarterbacks and wide receivers,
and wide receiver.
and he was very low in both of those. So even though he has, number 2 running backs and number 1 or 2 tight end, but he was so low in quarterback and wide receivers that my weighting system had him very low.
That makes sense.
And plus, it's hard to get quarterbacks. Like, that's not an easy thing, to be able to get it like a fast fix, a quick fix, right? So that's going to be tough for him to turn around.
Well, speaking of trades that jumped out, this wasn't during a draft, but it pops to mind is that quarterbacks are harder to get. So Elliott took Kareem Hunt in I think it was the 8th round or something.
Mm-hmm. And
then he traded for Phillip Rivers, who went in like the 10th or 11th. And it's like, why didn't you just take a quarterback?
But
earlier
to get that 8th round pick,
there's more to that, wasn't it? Like,
to get the 8th round pick, he gave up his entire draft class next year.
His whole draft. So he basically gave up his whole draft for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, plus I think a 13th and an 11th.
That can't be right.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is. I looked it up because Cody and I were talking about this the other night.
Yeah, Cody mentioned that you guys are talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gave up 11-11, 12-02, 2021, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, the whole draft for 8-03 and 13-10. Yeah, for Kareem Hunt.
So he moved up, what, 2 rounds?
Yeah, 3 rounds, 3.5 rounds.
3.5 rounds.
But then he took a guy who was only 4 or 5 picks ahead of where he was initially. I mean, that's the super flex tight end premium is if you don't realize what the league is when you're drafting, you're going to make these trades that you could have just, drafted for initially.
Even if he hadn't traded for Phillip Rivers, that's almost an unexplainable trade to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What did I miss? I don't understand.
Like
I thought I missed something. I don't get it.
I think it's safe to say he would not do that trade again.
Well, even if he kept Hunt, like he didn't need to trade for Rivers. If he kept Hunt, do you think he'd still do it?
I mean, I don't think Hunt is worth a second, in my opinion, much less a whole draft class.
I think he might be worth a 2021 second if you own Chubb. I can't wrap my head around it unless Steve gave him a hand job or something.
Steve, did you give him a hand job?
Put it past him.
He's in the chat right now. He pressed accept to give him a hand job is what he said.
Yeah. See, and that trade, although Steve still has this entire draft class, so that doesn't. I'm just trying to figure out how Steve has the team he does. Well, I know how he does because he trades a lot, and then he says, "Oh, I make trades a lot." That's how Steve sounds in my head.
Sounds about right.
But interesting. So who has the biggest? Who do you think is going to be number 12 next year?
So that's going to be potential points being the lowest. So not necessarily the record, but the lowest overall.
Because I definitely don't think it's going to be Scott.
So if I'm going by roster, I got Coop Squad. I've got Coop Squad at 12 in lineup and roster. So
yeah, same.
And I actually did a confidence ranking of the owners, and I've got him at 12 there as well.
Can we hear that list?
I want to hear that list.
So I've got Coop Squad at 12. I've got Skull Chef at 11 because he likes the old guys.
You're a little low on him after owning it.
Over.
I mean, I don't know everybody. This is what I've seen so far. This is the confidence level I have that
he's either adapting to what I like, or I'm beating it
We
into it.
wanted to hear more about you guys.
Yeah, we did want to hear about this co-ownership
Yeah.
you guys have going on. We want to know the inside conversations of how you two are arguing about
I know.
trades.
Screenshot some of those, please.
Literally, like Scott, 2 days ago, Mick told me that he had a trade that was accepted when he was sleeping because Cody did it without his knowledge. He hated the trade.
I didn't
Cody.
trade. It's just that he did it without me. And I think we could have gotten more because we were sending carry on to Dustin. Like it was I still love the trade because it was like 112, 111 carry on, 204, 205 for Kamara, Anthony Miller, and Preston Williams.
Okay.
It's not a bad trade at all.
I like it.
But
It wasn't a bad trade. It was just kind of like opportunity cost. Like you could have got more for what you gave up.
yeah,
Is why you didn't like it.
I ended up making it work in the end because eventually it ended up being we gave up like I haven't figured it all out yet, but I think we gave up like 205 and 204 for Anthony Miller and Preston Williams, and then like the 112 for Kamara basically. So
That's not bad. So from there, I've got the count at 10. I mean, with that much alcohol involved, you can't really have too much faith that, the moves are going to be made. I've got Meadow Militia at 9 because he's kind of the quiet guy. I don't really know his style yet, so I'm not really sure. I've got Dustin at 8 because he loves himself some running backs. I think he's learning, though, this year not to trade his future picks, not to load up on running backs. I've got George Puff. Oh, that's Tidball. I got Junior at 12. So I got Tidball at 8. I've got George Puff at 7. I've got Scott at 6 because he's so inactive. I just can't trust that guy to make some good moves, He's got too many leagues. You can't focus on this one. So I'm out midway confidence in him.
25 drafts the last 2 weeks. And I
don't know how you do it. I've got Cody Jackson 5 at 5. I've got Elliott 4 because he does make some weird moves, but I don't know, somehow he finds a way to get some of the top tier guys in other leagues that I've been in with him. I've got Steve at 3. I've got Mick at 2 because he does his magic voodoo spells over people. And then I've got myself at 1 because I have to have self-confidence, or what am I doing here? So I almost factored those in as like 10% of my rankings, but I decided to take it out.
Oh, 10%. Now Steve would still be consensus 1 because you had him at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would still be number 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so Dustin is in the comments here, but he also took Benjamin because he thinks that that's going to be Cliff Kingsbury's guy in the 7th round. So that kind of proves my point there, Dustin. Eno's not overtaking Drake.
He literally gave up more to get Drake for 1 season last year than he used to draft Eno. I don't understand the logic there.
But it's great because when we're next to each other in drafts, we're never taking each other's targets. Like even today in the 4th round, we were shooting for the same pick, but we didn't have the same target, so it works perfectly.
So So you don't believe in Drake, but you believe in Eno, a 7th round pick. I wish Dustin was on here so I could have this conversation.
He's in the comments. He's pretty active right now. He's probably typing out his Eno Benjamin, whatever you call it,
Manifesto.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Manifesto. Arizona State. He's a local kid. He's in Phoenix. He's sleeping in his own bed where he grew up. Upside is there.
Does have upside, but so does Drake.
And so does Chase Edmonds.
I think that's a competition between the two. But Drake's the clear number 1. I don't even think that's. I'm not sure how anyone can argue that. I mean, that's interesting to me that someone would have that argument with themselves even. But that's because he took Eno at 208. I was able to get McFarland at 209.
No, this was 306 and
Yeah, that's right. It was
306 and 309. Yeah, so he took Eno over McFarland. So would you do that, Scott? Because you're not big on McFarland either, though, right?
No, but
would you take McFarland over Eno?
there's like a 2-round
ADP difference?
right?
Well, Dustin more or less ignores ADP when it comes
I've
to
never seen taken before like
the 4th round.
I'm gonna try to find the earliest one here. I have all my drafts in a spreadsheet.
I took him in my first draft. Let me see what that was. I think it was like 403, maybe. I mean, the spot is not that bad for Benjamin if you believe in him, but it's just
5.
But there was
I wouldn't pass on McFarland over Eno.
There was also a couple reaches.
Oh wait, here's a 3. A 3. Wait,
Mick did trade for Drake.
McFarland 3, 5, 6, 7, 307 for Eno.
307.
Okay, so yeah, he took him at 306.
Yeah.
All right. There's another 312 here. Those are the only 2 where he went before the 4th. But
I mean, I've got Eno as my running back 12.
Like for me, I mean, I'm just looking at value. If you want him over McFarland, that's fine, but trade back and get the value.
I love that Dustin thinks that he blocked me from getting Eno. Even though McFarland was the guy I was trying to trade up for.
Yeah, freaking Mick and Cody were just trading back the whole 3rd round while I was trying to trade up to get McFarland, and they still got him at 309. Like, I was debating McFarland or Brian Edwards at 301. So I took Edwards because I love him so much, and I kept trying to trade back for McFarland. Well, they're trading back, and everybody's just picking other random people.
Huh? The people I was trading with told me who they were taking, and I was just banking on Dustin doing something weird. He delivered. Oh.
I do like Gandy Golden, though, at 308. Dustin took him there. I think he's going to be a pretty good receiver.
I was looking back at the 2018, all my drafts then, to see like who I took in the 3rd and 4th rounds and like if they mattered at all. And I had so many shares of Mark Andrews in the 4th round. That's got to be like by far the greatest 4th round pick ever.
I'm trying to think of a better one.
I mean, Slayton was 4th round. He's only been 1 year, but he could be up there if he keeps it up.
Yeah, no, but I mean, dude, Mark Andrews is like universally like 3 or 4
wide receiver to tight end premium.
Ian Thomas, like that's your normal type of 4th round tight end, right? A guy that's flashed a couple times and is now like year 3 getting a starting opportunity. But like Mark Andrews is like he is a top tight end.
So actually, in this draft that Mick you're in, we're doing right now, Super Cup last year, Terry McLaurin went in the 4th.
Okay,
that doesn't surprise me based off the draft that I saw in that draft.
Yeah,
here.
Deontay Johnson 401, Terry McLaurin 407, Darius Slayton 406.
I took Hunter Renfrow 412.
Yeah, he went 402 in this one.
So Terry went after
Darius Slayton 5.
Singletary went 305 last year in this draft.
508 for Slayton.
What in the world was this draft doing last year?
I got Debo at 207.
What?
I remember I went to sleep with like at the end of the 1st round. I woke up and I was on the clock with 207 and Debo was still there. I couldn't believe it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got him at 206 and I had traded back. I was at the end of the 1st. I traded back and I still got Debo. It was amazing.
Early in the year, getting Debo. Later,
that was day of the draft. Basically, that draft starts after the NFL draft finishes.
Early in the year, getting Debo at 204, 205 wasn't crazy.
Yeah, it started on 428, and
He started to move up after the draft, but people
And
just on him.
This Super Cup draft, actually, someone traded up to 101 and took Haskins over Murray.
oof.
That one's going to sting.
Yeah, I took Haskins at like 106, I think, in one.
No, he was going in Superflex. He was going 102 or 103 in most of mine, which I didn't love at all. But that's the main reason that I'm now flipped. Started going running back over quarterback early, unless
That's because of Haskins.
Yeah.
slightly Haskins. But just looking back historically, I mean Trubisky. I mean, if you look at the bust rate for the quarterbacks, it's higher than for the running back. So
It's funny though. I was annoyed that I kept getting stuck with Miles Sanders, and I liked him a lot, but I wanted to diversify a little bit, and I just kept getting stuck with him. And it's like here we are a year later, and I couldn't be happier about it. I have like 12 shares of him. I got him at the 108, the 109, the 106.
it's so crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, see, I got N'Keal Harry at 106 in this league, which, I mean, obviously is not great, but I think it was pretty good value at the
He went
time.
101 in one of my leagues. That was the $200 buy-in one. He went 101. Jacobs went 102, and I took Sanders at 103.
I mean, in one league last year, I got stuck having the 101, 102, and 103, and I ended up taking the 3 running backs because running backs hit sooner than wide receivers, and they bust less, at least in my opinion.
Dude, so real quick, I got to tell you about this $200 buy-in league that I took over an orphan in. So the orphan was so bad, it had the 101, and they gave me an extra pick at the end of each round.
Each round,
Wow.
not just the
They
first round.
unanimously agreed to give me it because the roster was so bad. So I had the
Wow.
101, the 113, the 201, the 213, the 301, Okay. So this roster I took over was Tom Brady, Andy Dalton, LeGarrette Blount, Rex Burkhead, Mike Gillislee, Chris Ivory, Marshawn Lynch, DeMarco Murray.
This is 2020, right?
This was 2 years ago, okay?
Oh, 2 years ago.
The third draft that I have with this team. So I took over right before the draft in 18. Danny Amendola, Calvin Benjamin, Travis Benjamin, Corey Coleman, Jordan Matthews, Rashard Matthews, Josh Reynolds, Gerald Everett, Kyle Rudolph. That's it. There was not one top
2 assets, maybe 3 that you would actually at that point want.
I mean,
Well, Josh Reynolds is better than Corey Davis, so that's a plus.
I mean, so I drafted Saquon at 101. I took Cortland Sutton at 113. It's tight end premium, so I took Mike Gesicki at 201. So I got 3 hits there.
Well, you got Sutton at 113?
Mm-hmm.
That's not surprising, really. In
So
Wasn't he like a top? I mean, who were the quarterbacks that year?
well, this was one quarterback league.
early in the process, he was. I saw him go in 12
Really?
leagues. I saw him go at 203.
This is one quarterback though.
It was a debate between him and Anthony Miller.
So
Interesting.
I can tell you exactly who went. So Geis went 2, Michelle 3, Penny, Chubb, Rojo, Calvin Ridley,
Oh,
Royce Freeman, DJ Moore at 109, Carrion, Anthony Miller at 111, Christian Kirk at 112, and then I took Sutton at 130.
wait, that was the DJ Moore draft, right?
Mhm.
Where did he go?
109.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
I
was
know someone.
Sutton was
I know someone who took Rojo at 103 in August in our league. I'll give you one guess.
Dustin.
He bought into that Rojo hype.
Oh man.
Dustin. Now's the time to buy into the Rojo hype. it's gone, so he's cheap. Other than if you
So you heard that roster that I took over, right?
Yeah, that was terrible.
All right, so here's where I'm at now.
that you don't have
I have Patrick Mahomes. I have my wide receiver group: Odell Beckham, Tyler Boyd, DJ Shark, Jamison Crowder, Deontay Johnson, and Cortland Sutton. Mike Gesicki, Ian Thomas, and then I just went crazy on running backs this year because that's pretty much all I need now to compete. So I have Miles Sanders. So I took Barkley that 1 year, but I ended up trading him to get a bunch of these assets. And then so I have Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, Keyshawn Vaughn, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, Josh Kelly, DJ Dallas, Kerryon Johnson, all those guys. So I can actually compete this year, hopefully.
It's a pretty good turnaround for 2 years.
Isn't that crazy, though? Man. But yeah,
Saquon would help a lot with
that
that.
extra pick at the end of each round that really made the difference.
Well, if it's someone that knows what they're doing, picking. Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. If I didn't hit on those picks, I mean, I obviously wouldn't be anywhere near this. No.
Well, really, you only traded Saquon. I mean,
I made so many trades, though.
but the extra picks you still have on your roster, it sounds like, in Sutton.
Yeah, I still have Sutton and Gesicki. That's true.
So you didn't. I mean, yeah, you're a wide receiver, high end wide receiver 2 and a low end tight end 1.
Yeah.
From where you, well, not even, because you would have had the 201 anyway, which would have been Sutton, because you wouldn't have had to worry about the 113. But
Right.
I mean, those extra picks, it doesn't sound like actually. I mean, yeah, they helped, but it's not what built the team. It was probably.
Well, Cortland Sutton at 113 is a pretty big
Oh yeah,
building block.
it is, but it's not what helped him get Odell, Deontay, etc.
Well, I got Odell this year for the 105. I had the 105, the 106, and the 108 because what happened was I hung on to Tom Brady all that time, and I was almost going to drop him last year. And I was like, who knows? Maybe quarterback will get hurt and, a competing team will need him. And obviously, all the quarterback injuries that last year, right? So a team traded me. He traded me his first for my second and Tom Brady when it looked like I should probably have the 201, the 202, and he was going to have like the 111, 112, right? So he just moves back a couple spots. He ends up getting bounced, and I end up getting the 108, and I got the 205. So he got the 205, and I got the 108 from Tom Brady. So thank you very much. So I had the 105, the 106, and the 108 this year.
So Odell for 105, that's his price now?
He offered me that. I smash accepted.
Wow.
I don't care that everybody hates him. I'm taking that.
Yeah,
deal.
I don't either.
I mean,
I don't think Mick would take that deal. Would you, Mick?
well, in a non-super flex.
Well, think about it. You got 5 running backs. So I just gave up my opportunity to get that running back to compete.
Or CeeDee Lamb, yeah.
So
Acres or Lamb.
what I ended up doing is I traded up from 106 to 104, and I took Swift because it went CEH, Taylor, Dobbins. So I ended up doing that. And then I traded back, and I went, well, it pissed me off because it went Ruggs and Jefferson at 8 and 9. And then somebody took Joe Burrow at 10. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And then Rager goes at 11, and I'm like, fuck. So I took Keyshawn Vaughn, which I'm going to try to flip because I don't really.
No, I'm not.
Brian Edwards plus.
I'm waiting for the hype machine, and then I'm going to maybe combine him with one of those receivers and get a better running back.
What did you trade Saquon for? Because I'm assuming that's what helped you build most of the team.
Yeah, it was like 2 trades back to back, but that pretty much netted me. Well, Singletary is part of that trade, who I immediately flipped for Boyd. So I'd already put that trade together. I don't even remember. I think it was like Carry On, Singletary, Shark. There were some other pieces that that one, which I think the 106 turned into the 106. Another first, another second, something else. But like I said, I flipped a couple of those pieces already to get Boyd and Deontay Johnson. Or no, I drafted Deontay Johnson last year. So it wasn't that great of a trade. The Barkley trade wasn't. I just knew that the pieces I got, I was able to flip. And I was trying to do the same thing with Carry On that I did with Singletary because I had no interest in Carry On. But now I have Swift and Carry On. So whatever. I'll just stick with that.
I like it. Sometime I'm going to go through all my trades in the AAF and figure out what I did to make it so good because I still don't know.
Yeah.
I was actually looking the other day. I saw you made one with Dustin for Kareem Hunt. He gave you someone. It might have been Amari Cooper or something.
Possible. I know he wanted Hunt as soon as I drafted him. He was DMing me. Same thing when I drafted Carry On.
I made 2 trades with him recently.
Okay, here it is. So you gave up Kareem Hunt, Anthony Miller, and Dante Pettis for Amari Cooper.
God.
Sounds about right.
Well,
I mean, when you're a team with or a league with 36 players, I mean, you got 35 guys to trade with. They're not all going to be knowing what they're doing. I mean, Dustin was really high on Hunt last year, so I understand why he did that. But a lot of these guys in that league that are probably not even in there anymore.
No.
Making crazy trades.
Well,
which we do.
I did 2 trades here in the last couple months. I think I gave up Randall Cobb and James Washington, Tyler Higbee, and a first and a second and a third and a fifth. And I got the 104 and a 2021 second and a 2022 second. And now I don't have to drop anybody. And I have a 104. So
that's nice.
I'm hoping maybe a Sheriff Dobbins will fall. Who knows?
You know, I made a terrible trade last year in that league.
Dustin,
I love
Junior literally just hates me and doesn't want to trade with me because I offered him so much more for that pick.
It wasn't the same pick.
No, it was the same pick. That 113 or 112. I offered him so much more for that pick.
He got the 107 and the 207 out of it.
Yeah, but I offered Mike Williams and a 107 and Mike.
So Mike Williams or 207?
No, Mike Williams 107 and Mike Gesicki.
But he said he gave him a 107, right? Scott?
I gave him a 107, a 207, a Tyler Higbee, who finished ahead of Mike Williams.
So it's Williams or in Gesicki or 207 in Higbee, basically.
And Randall Cobb.
So who would you rather have, 207 or Mike Williams?
207. I can get Mike Williams for that, apparently.
I'd take Mike Williams personally, but I'm probably higher on him.
Who you should be.
So last year in this league, so I love DJ Moore and DJ Chark, so I had him in every league, and I was like, I'm going to diversify. So last year, I think it was July, I traded DJ Moore and DJ Chark for Corey Davis and Hakeem Butler.
No.
It's probably the worst trade. No. I was like, Corey Davis, he might break out. Hakeem Butler's getting this hype. I'm just going to diversify and get a couple shares.
Butler. I loved it.
Oh, my gosh. That's the worst trade. And I was so high on Moore and Chark, and I was like, I got him in every league. I can afford to give up one share. Oh.
I can afford to give up one share.
Luckily, I got Chark back in a different trade.
You did, yeah. And you have Cooper, and you still have Butler and Beckham.
Actually, I traded Butler away and I traded back for him again, like I think a couple weeks ago or a month ago.
And McLaren, and you have Mike Williams in here too.
Oh,
Yeah, but if I had DJ Moore and DJ Chark initially, it'd been much better.
yeah, you have a very nice.
I was looking. I finished 6th in points last year.
You kept telling me that all off season.
That's so stupid, though. Look at the other guys around me. Like, their records and my record is a bunch of crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dustin is bringing up an old trade in a different league we had where Josh Gordon was kind of healthy and coming back, and so I was buying into it. So I traded Juju for Josh Gordon, like a third
Oh, man.
after Juju's rookie year. But
I traded Juju during his breakout his rookie year for, I want to say, is Derrick Henry. I think it was Derrick Henry. But then I traded Derrick Henry for someone that's not even on my roster anymore. Like,
well, to be fair, the guy that drafted Juju in that league cut him, and I picked him up off waivers.
that was the first league. That was the startup draft for my home league, Juju's rookie year, and I picked Juju up off waivers.
Yeah, same as kind of our home. It's like a keeper league, really. It's not even a dynasty, but same thing happened. But I was buying that Josh Gordon hype 2 years ago. Did not pan out.
He might get reinstated. Alden Smith just got reinstated, so
I traded him for 2/4 in that celebrity industry league. I literally put in the chat, I was like, Josh Gordon for literally any pick. Just send me a pick. And like 4 people sent me like a 5th rounder. And one dude's like, I'll give you a 4th this year and a 4th next year. And I was like, done.
deal.
When was this? 2 years ago?
No, like last week.
Oh. Yeah, in this draft, I'd take that easily.
That's trying to think. So like Outhouse is in this league. Brian Haar, Pete Law. You guys know Pete Law?
Name sounds familiar.
Stats guy. FF Briefcase, Casey Kasem, Stompy, Dynasty Madman. There's a bunch of dudes in here, but that was that's an interesting league. It's a best ball, so that changes things a little bit. I thought that was an interesting twist for the rookie draft, though.
It being best ball.
It's like guys like Ruggs, super valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ruggs. Basically all your high upside wide receivers.
Hamler actually has value.
Mm-hmm.
I actually drafted him. It's the only league I'll have him in.
What pick?
Well, I made like 8 trades during this draft, and I was like selling all my old guys. So Akers at 106, Justin Jefferson at 112, Antonio Gibson 210, KJ Hamler 310.
Okay.
That's
about where he should go.
Yeah.
Ross is still upset because he went 211 in our draft today.
Well, okay, so that's like McFarland usually goes late second for the most part, early third.
Yeah.
So this guy has James Conner, and he makes these terrible trades. So, I don't know. I think I posted to you what I gave up for Jalen Rager at 202 was like a bunch of crap. I just threw a trade because I was bored and accepted it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he has James Conner, and he passes on McFarland twice at 211 and 307 and takes KJ Hamler at 211. I know Broncos fans that would not even touch him until the end of the third.
Well, I don't know if you know this name from the Facebook group, Luke Bisson. He's I just met him through like this group. We chat all the time. But he loves KJ Hamler for some reason, and I don't get it. He has so many shares of him. But end of the third round, like end of the third, beginning of the fourth. So like I get it, but I mean I understand the value there. I don't get it.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull this guy's his trades up because they were rough.
I mean, he's the guy that traded me probably an early first. Or
So I'm gonna go through. He's got 7 trades here. So he traded Jarvis Landry and 106 for 107 and 202.
What?
that was to me.
No, that's the Josh Count
What?
Druncula.
Oh well, then how did I end up with? Oh yeah, that's right.
Josh traded him after, but so basically, he traded Jarvis for the 202, which is probably about right, and then he moved back a pick
And then
from 106 to 107.
Oh no.
So then
Okay.
his next trade, he gave up the 201 at Superflex for Derek Carr. I don't know if you got. I mean, it's defensible, I guess.
It's not horrible.
Then he traded the 107 for Matt Ryan.
That seems
Decent
like
trade. Okay. So then this is my trade. So he's sitting there at 202, and I was bored because it was taking forever. So I sent him the 211, the 309, the 312, and a 2021 third for the 202.
which was rare.
Yeah, so he moved back 9 spots to grab the 309, 312, and a 2021 third.
And Rager had fallen.
Yes.
Or he could have had a Will Fuller from Mick.
No, he could have had Will Fuller.
That's what you offered him, was
It
Will
was
Fuller.
very complicated.
Thank you.
There was Will
I
Fuller.
don't have a single share of him in all my leagues. Not one. For me to not have a share of someone, that's like impossible.
He's a buy low.
He's
So
a
then this is between the time where I told Mick he didn't have the people skills. So then Mick jumps in and makes a trade with him. He gives up Will Fuller and Deontay Johnson for the 2021 first, which might be a top 3 pick, and the 404.
okay. Okay.
So then he trades.
Yeah, I don't like that, but okay.
He trades up from the 309 to Mick's 307.
People, so
Okay, so before we get to this next trade, so the 211 he got from me, he took KJ Hamler. And then Mick's on the clock at 307. So this guy trades up from 309 and gives up the 409 to take Darrington Evans. It's not bad.
Okay.
And then Josh comes in again and gets his 312 and 401 for Matt Breida and Kelvin Harmon.
Wait, say that again? 312.
So 312 and 401. I think he took Duvernay and
Troutman.
no, actually I traded up for the 401 and got DJ Dallas. So Duvernay and DJ Dallas were those picks for Matt Breida and Kelvin Harmon. Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
But he had coming into this draft, he had the 106, the 201, the 202, the 404, and some other picks, and he ended up with KJ Hamler and Darrington Evans.
Ugh.
And Derek Carr.
And Derek Carr and Matt Ryan, yeah. And Will Fuller and Deontay Johnson.
But he doesn't have 2021 first.
So that's the guy. I think he's going to be an orphan next year.
I just don't get it. Like, you're just better off just staying where you are and make your picks.
No, if you're bad at drafting or trading, don't do it.
Well, the thing is like he was sitting on 202 for hours, so I just threw that spaghetti offer against the wall.
Yeah.
And he said, you made the top 2. Can you sweeten it? And I said, oh, well, I can move this 2021 third to a 2022 second, if that helps. And then no response. And then he just accepts the worst offer. And then Mick was pissed because he didn't take Will Fuller.
No, the offer wasn't just Will Fuller. It was a huge deal. Like, it was massive.
Well, from what you told me, it was Will Fuller.
I'll see if I can find it in the chat. What's the guy's name? I can't remember.
Slotty by nature.
That's Kyle Rendon.
Yeah. Don't say names. We're not going to dox anybody on this YouTube.
Let me see if I can find it.
I plugged it into the trade calculator, and it was worse than my offer.
So it was Fant 202, Carson 2021 first for Fuller, Singletary, and Kelsey.
No, there was one you sent to me that was 202 and Carson for like Singletary and Will Fuller or something.
He might like that one too. Like I sent him so many different variations and things because he took forever to respond.
So this is the league he's co-owning with Cody. So what was Cody doing during all this? Just out there grilling?
He's checking on his smoker,
Aware
basting his meats.
of what was going
I
on.
really do. You guys really butt heads in your chats, or is it all for show?
I do things and then I tell him we're doing this, and then he'll say, "Why?" And I'll say, "Because." And then he'll do things and say, "Can we do this?" And I say, "No." It's bad. Or I'll be like, "Okay, sure."
Is this like a meat smoking league, or like how the hell did you guys end up together?
Well, I posted this orphan in our Prime chat, and Cody said he'll take it. And so I was like, "Do you want it by yourself or with a co-owner?" And then he asked Mick to co-own. So now they co-own this team together.
Dude,
And they're like the opposite end of values. It's hilarious.
it's so funny though, because like I got I had kind of like randomly Cody posted like some Facebook question about like keeper values or something a while back, and I was like, dude, you got to play Dynasty, man. This is where the real, this is real fantasy football, man. You need to play Dynasty. And then I got him in this league, and then it is just like, hey, he joined another one of my leagues that I'm in, and then he joined that one, and now he's like addicted. So it's so funny.
Wait, so is Prime his first Dynasty league?
Yeah.
Okay, so him and Junior are kind of on the same experience level then, as far as Dynasty.
Yeah. So he's doing good in the other league.
What he's telling me, the trades that he's making in that other league, other than A-Rob for 111.
Nah, yeah, I know. No, 110 and 111.
Oh, well, I mean, is that what he got for A-Rob?
Which then he
I'd take that.
Traded Mahomes in 110 and 111 for like
Dak
Hopkins and Watson and something else, or Dak and Watson and no, he's doing good in there actually.
Good. I think
so. Cody says you're the wife, Mick, and Cody is the husband, having to ask for permission.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. As long as he knows that I'm in charge.
You know what I forgot to put on the show sheet is we need to talk about this business venture that we've got cooking up. It's got legs.
Freaking Dynasty dude keeps talking about it now. He's like, I got a backlog, guys, but I'll just put me on the list, man.
Wait, who is that?
The Dynasty dude.
Did you guys' pod?
Oh, that one. Yeah. I'm talking about our traveling road show we're going to get together. I think it's got legs.
So here, okay. So
has anybody? I haven't looked at that Google sheet in a while, or that document.
I haven't even opened it.
I somehow
open it up, man.
Off of it or something, and I lost it, so I need it again.
Where is it?
Here, I'll
It's in the. Did you put it?
You should.
Or no.
I don't know if I did, but you should have it if you open it once.
Dude, I have 1,000 tabs open on 4 different pages.
Okay, I just sent the email to you.
All right.
Did you send it
add
or just to Scott?
I replied to your StreamYard email. I had both of you on it.
Inbox. Silent. Jesus. There's too many.
Here, I want to tell you. I'll tell you Cody's trades in the league he took over. So he traded Allen Robinson for the 111 and 207. Then him and I did a trade. So here, all right, tell me who you like here. So it's PPR for wide receivers and tight ends, and running backs are 0.5 PPR and 0.2 PPC. Okay. Jordan Howard for John Brown, blockbuster baby.
And it's a PPC.
PPR and 0.2 PPC for running back.
But it's full point for wide receivers.
So John Brown for Jordan Howard.
I might take John Brown just because of Breda. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
I think Can I pick neither?
It's a good trade.
I don't want either, but I'm fairly confident that Cody got Howard. I'm guessing he got Howard. He got John Brown because he's old.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up. So yeah, so then he flipped Howard for Brown. So he traded the 104 and the 204 for Cortland Sutton and the 110. So now he's got the
I like that trade. I like that
got
trade.
the
Actually.
110 and the 111.
So what he does with the 110 and the
207 from that trade. So he now trades the 207 for David Johnson. Then he trades Robbie Anderson for the 212. Then he trades Patrick Mahomes, the 110 and the 111 for Dak, DeAndre Hopkins, and the 302. So to me, that was, and then the 212, I was trying to get him to take Ebron for the 212, but he ended up getting Hayden Hurst for that. And then he traded Bryce Love in the 404 for Duke Johnson. So now he's got that Houston backfield, and as well as DeAndre Hopkins. He's got all the Texans.
Well, Hopkins isn't there anymore.
So he traded for David Johnson in this prime league. That I didn't really love that trade. So what did he trade David Johnson for in that other one?
207. 212 in the.
So he traded the 207 for David Johnson.
Yeah, I like that actually in this league.
And that's a 1 QB. That's a 1 QB league.
1 QB, and then that point
the same pick as what he used in the prime league.
I like that trade though.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, he traded the 211 and the 305 for David Johnson in this league.
Okay,
I don't like that one.
I don't like that one either.
I think David Johnson's toast, but
yeah, but Bill O'Brien's going to run him into the ground, so he's going to get volume. I don't know if he's doing anything.
Did you watch him run last year though? Like he was speed walking, like he was an old person in the mall at 4 a.m.
He's another guy I don't own a single share of.
Yeah, me either.
I think if you want to own a running back in that backfield, go buy Duke.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Well, in this league, I wouldn't though.
If David gets hurt, which is likely, he hasn't stayed healthy since what? 20, well, other than the year that he had a lot of touchdowns, he hasn't stayed healthy the past 2 years.
Well, if he gets 20 carries, he can get 4 points even if he doesn't gain a yard in that league.
Yeah, but that's also a possibility.
Exactly. So at least he gets 4 points instead of 0.
True.
Scott, did you get that email? Did it come through?
Yeah, I just opened it.
All right, let's see. 12 wireless GoPros synced.
Someone read through it so we're not on dead air here.
Yeah, this is great. All right, so the roles are Elliot, photo, video production, logo design, app design, 12 wireless GoPros synced to switchboards that go to a live show, upload to Twitch.
That's awesome.
Steve, photo, video production, logo design. Scott, Mick, and Ross, all in the broadcast booth.
With roasting. We're going to roast these people as they draft.
And doing app design. Dustin is MC and hosting, as well as taxes and accounting. Cody's doing catering. Matt is a legal consult for any potential issues.
Yeah.
Josh is bringing the booze,
of course,
in the pipe machine.
And he's getting everybody hyped.
Cody's catering. Mike and Junior don't have roles.
They haven't responded to this. I don't know if they're even aware.
Well,
but if they don't want to be a part of it, I mean, the bus is going to leave the station whether they want to or not.
What does Junior do? I know they do. He works for
he works with Dustin. I'm not sure what he does.
Maybe he could set up he could be the roadie and set up all the lighting.
Yeah, that we still need a Vanna White for putting names on a board for the auction or as the draft goes.
Well, Mike's 6'4", so he's tall. He could reach high on a board.
So maybe he could be like a bouncer, checking tickets, making sure who's allowed in is correct or something.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Well, then what do we got? We got Concept, a traveling production for live rookie startup dynasty drafts and auctions. Redraft as a last resort. Create a fun and engaging atmosphere for drafting within dynasty community. Create a YouTube channel to upload, edit videos of events to create demand. Create Twitter account to build fan base. Scott leverage contacts once we have curated final product. Travel limited to once every 4 to 6 weeks in the beginning. Startups mid-February to August. Rookie May to August. Name ideas. Dynasty Auction Squad. Tony Weaver Squad. Draft Day Roasting. Cody makes a roast at every one. Fantasy Festival. 101 Entertainment. Prime Roasting. Dynasty Roadshow. That last one I like.
Dynasty Roadshow.
Yeah. It's like a play on
Roast Roadshow.
like a play on what's that show on PBS?
What is that show? It's on Grandma's Boy, I think.
Oh,
Damn, what is that?
Antiques Roadshow. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow.
So you know the Sonny Weaver squad, right?
Sony Weaver.
Mick, you should know.
I love Sony.
The what?
The draft day reference.
Like that sometime. I think I got close in this last league. Kind of. I didn't trade a pick back to a team though.
So if you had to look at this business plan or whatever you want to call this, what do you think the strengths and the weaknesses are of this idea?
That it's traveling.
Is it a strength or a weakness?
Both.
Both. I think to have 12 people come.
Well, it might be 10. We need Mike and Junior haven't committed yet.
Well, to have 10 to 12 people come from
They'll be the roadies.
literally the entire country to one location for a draft that's usually going to be 12 people seems like a little bit of overkill.
Well, when you create the demand,
big,
if you build it, they will come.
Damn right.
You've seen Field of Dreams?
We would have to like do multiple. We could only go to like larger cities and do multiple drafts at one, not necessarily at one time,
You'd have to stack them, yeah.
because otherwise it wouldn't make fiscal sense unless we charged like an exorbitant amount per event.
Dude, it'll have to be like celebrities and shit like that.
Well, I mean, you might do the first couple, what do they call that?
Pro bono.
We can
pro bono. Pro bono to build the demand.
do the local industry league here. So like John McGlynn and Mike Tagliere and like all those guys. We're
Roast tags.
figuring out we're still, because we do the draft in person, so we're trying to figure that out. Obviously our state's locked down still, so we're trying to figure out how and where we're going to do this. But Tags was our draft board guy last year. It's pretty funny.
I couldn't roast tags. He seems too nice.
Yeah.
No, I could do it.
You could roast anybody if you put your mind to it, Mick.
Oh, I could.
Just pretend it's a trade.
I'm not mean in my trades though. You catch more flies with honey.
You catch more juniors with.
Oh, Cody, put that on the Google Doc here. We need to add a drafting guide, I think is what he's saying.
Oh yeah.
This is open to edit for everybody that's involved. So add any ideas, any name suggestions. We don't have a name for it at all yet. So,
Or a business model. Other I mean,
we're in the creation stage. If you need to,
That's right. It's brainstorming.
take some performance enhancing, drugs to get your brain going, do whatever you got to do.
Oh boy.
Are you telling me if this business took off hypothetically, and you could make a living on it, you wouldn't want to be involved?
No, I definitely would.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
We're shooting for the stars here. or shooting for the moon, whatever you want to say.
But to even get it off the ground, all of us have. What's a central location for all of us?
Chicago.
Well, we don't have to be central.
Well, no. I'm saying
Why do we need a central location?
we don't need a central location. I'm thinking for the first one that we do, to as like a pro bono. To get
Well, we could probably just start some kind of Kickstarter, get some kind of crazy
a go
Instagram, Twitter campaign going to start one, and just see where it takes us.
Absolutely. I'm in.
I mean, it's like David Montgomery, Ronald Jones. All you need is hype to start off. That's all you need.
Oh
We
man.
just need to know if Mike and Junior are going to be involved.
5.5 hours.
What's that?
I have a draft starting in 5.5 hours.
Oh,
I do too, and it's my biggest orphan.
This is a orphan I took over too. I don't even think I've looked at the roster.
Sounds about right. Cody, that's not the point. The traveling is the fun part of it.
exactly. We can all just be like on the road, you know,
We're gonna be like a band.
once every 4 to 6 weeks to begin with.
for like just a weekend, or is it like a week at a time type of thing?
No, it's like a weekend. Like you fly in a Friday night.
Oh, it's like
Maybe there's they pay extra. There's some kind of meet and greet before. Then the next day you just have a draft, a huge party. You roast everybody. Everybody has fun. You post all the fun stuff on social media.
Well,
Boom, and then it just grows from there. What we should do is go to the dynasty.
Cody, I wasn't saying Adderall. I was more saying weed, but just to clarify.
I'll take the Adderall.
Well, either one. I mean, whatever
It
floats your
should put
boat.
me to sleep. The only time I've ever taken it, I passed out.
I don't.
Adderall?
Yeah, I was driving too, and it made me fall asleep. I had to pull over and take a nap.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, you must be the 1% on that one.
yeah. Well, NyQuil does the same. NyQuil is like the same thing, or like opposite. I drank like a bottle of it. I was up all night.
Oh my gosh.
What does coffee do to you?
I don't drink coffee.
What does soda or pop do to you?
Well, considering Mountain Dew's been like my main source of liquid intake for the last couple decades, really nothing at this point.
That's horrible. Horrible for your body.
Yeah, that's fine. I drink my body weight in water or ounces per pound every day.
So you're telling us that Adderall turns you into Rip Van Winkle?
Yeah.
Wild.
I've never taken Adderall. I haven't drank other than.
Well, you don't sleep.
I don't drink caffeine either.
Aren't you going to be up in like 3 hours?
4
For what?
Fridays anymore. So
I have to show a house at like 4:15 tomorrow, so I'm good. It's like 5 minutes for me.
You're talking about PM, right?
that must be the life. Although you get calls at odd hours, so I wouldn't like that.
24/7, 365.
I know. I call my
Real life or anything. They just care about buying a house.
me and my realtor are friends, so he's fine with me calling him whenever. But if we weren't, I wouldn't call him whenever.
Well, I started as an investor, so like I have a few investors I've been working with for years. So it's same relationship.
But he gets like we'll be hanging out and it'll be like midnight and he'll get calls from
Wow.
time home buyers, and I'm like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah. I actually just texted one of my agents some information. So I mean, we just work. I mean, it's 12:30. So yeah, we just work whatever.
I mean, I guess people have jobs, so they only have so much time to do stuff. But what we should do is, if we're serious about this, go to the Dynasty. Oh crap! It's in Canton.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah,
The
the annual conference, right?
Yeah. Well,
We should do that. Absolutely.
The
second.
Dynasty Rewind guys are going to have a booth there this year. And shit, what are the other guys? Shane Manila.
Shane.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have a booth there this year too. I can't
I
think.
just added an idea at the bottom. Tell me what you think.
I'm afraid to look. Party bus. Oh, well, then we have to drive everywhere.
Oh yeah, I'm driving everywhere.
That can be Junior's job. He can.
The driver.
In the driver.
He's going to drive us into rebuilding. I don't know if I want that.
He can just drive the bus from city to city, and we can all fly and then get on the bus once we get.
But in all seriousness, if Kaser beats us to market with his idea before us, so that's, I mean, we cannot let that happen.
Oh God.
This idea is 1,000 times better than his idea. We have to do
It's
something
What
better.
idea is it?
The Dynasty stock market or whatever.
Dude, that's already out there. Trust me, I looked into that a few years ago.
Yeah.
Already exists.
No, but it's better. It's different and cool.
No.
I'm going to end the broadcast. Hold on.
It's probably a good idea. Thanks for